Hi, welcome to the 1 Liter Podcast. You will watch us drinking 1 liters of beer whilst talking about shies. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to the 1 Liter.
Cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
Do you still like your cuppers?
Yeah, I had a cup of tea. I ran through the rain to get my biscuits for my tea today.
Do you like your English breakfast?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was English breakfast. Yeah, I do like Australian afternoon, but it's fucking strong.
How do you like your teas? Is it just like no sugar, milk,
No sugar, just
Hot?
dash of milk. Yeah,
dash milk? Yeah. It was real funny. I had this thing in my head for ages because
thanks, mate.
when I was in Canada when I was a young fella, still working at the theme parks at the time, I met some cool people in backpacking in Canada, like met them at different hostels and was like, okay, we're cruising with each other now. And one of them was this British guy named Alex. And like every time we went to a cafe, we'd always be hungover. He'd be like, give me the largest, blackest coffee you've got. And I was like, oh, must just be him. And then some other people came along. Black coffee, please. Very black. And then I came back to Australia and met some other English people. Black coffee, please. And then I got 2 English bosses at work and black coffee, please. I'm like, what the fuck, you know? So I like that you have to taste the flavor. Don't have any sugar, Joel. It's ridiculous.
That's what I say now. I'm like a fucking coffee snob.
Coffee snob.
We'll like go around the coffee
Lights
places around here. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to have to try the long black just so I can taste the bean. Because otherwise, like...
Can you flick the bean for me as well, please?
I'll go one extreme to the other, right? I'll be like either long black or I'll get like a large almond milk mocha. Or
Almond milk.
Or soy mocha, something silly.
Mm.
So it'll either be a chocolatey mocha coffee or like a long black.
So it's like no in between. It's the two
Yeah.
extremes.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of cappuccinos or standard lattes or anything. I want to taste that coffee bean.
I've got 3 options. Like if I'm feeling like I feel like intermittent fasting today, I'll have a ice long black.
Let's move closer.
If I don't feel like waiting for,
Yeah.
if I'm in a hurry, I'll ask for a just a large soy cap with honey.
Why the fuck are you guys getting soy?
Soy
You know
cap.
that shit is like drinking Drano.
We literally watched that
Wait,
today,
so-
how
wait.
soy milk is made.
Soy's bad for us.
Yes.
It's very processed. I
Extreme.
watched it today. I still get soy, so I'm not trying to preach here.
Wouldn't like pasteurized milk be just as bad?
No, it's not.
Okay, well I'll
what you
go
want
back to
is
milk then.
what you want is raw milk.
Yeah, you want raw milk.
Can you ask for raw milk at
No,
cafe?
not
You
at
have to,
all.
it's bath milk.
Yeah, it's illegal to buy in Australia.
Wow.
Raw milk.
You can
have
buy it, but you can buy it as bath milk because you're going to bathe in it.
They
Right,
can't. They
yeah.
can't sell it as.
Can you
consumer
actually
milk.
drink that though? Or is it like because it's not pasteurized? Is it bad for you? Or
No, because people have done that for literally all of history until like the last 80
Yeah.
years
yeah.
when they decided to boil the milk.
It's so that they kill all the bacteria, right? So there's more risk of bacteria being in raw milk, but psh,
It's because they started mass producing it, and if there was, a bad batch of milk, it would mix through everything else, and so they passed laws to boil it. But then it just we've like one of the most like nutritious thing that we literally created cows, like bred them into existence.
Mm.
So that we could have these like things that would like help our immune systems and things and our digestive systems. And now we're all like, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm like, you're not fucking lactose intolerant.
it's
You just can't. You're just eating poison.
the mass production. Also, they've put in like laws for because the way they do it is they've just got these machines that just suck the milk out of the cow's teat, and their fucking udders are like bleeding and infected and pussy. So there's also regulation of how much pus and blood is allowed to remain in the milk. So you have to like filter it out. They're like, oh yeah, this is the standard. You can't have more than this of the pus bacteria.
Imagine being like,
Yeah, he's
that's
got that
50,
job.
that's 50% pus. That's pretty good.
Classic.
There's too much AIDS in this milk.
Yeah, it's still,
I could
this
taste
hasn't
the AIDS.
metastasized yet. This is not bad. Yeah.
Good vintage of AIDS. But there's too much of it.
I just dribbled 196
You
on
both
myself.
just did that.
Yeah, I did
Really?
it
Wow.
Yeah,
multiple.
but I think it's because the lemon. You're like,
No, it's
so
so
sweet.
filled to the brim. It's like
it's made for a little Japanese man. And
little Hiranuku.
I didn't know until like a few weeks ago that it's vodka and soju.
It's actually vodka, right?
is it
It's
like
right in front of us.
I thought it was vodka and lemon, but it's soju.
what's
I'm not a bit-
soju?
That shit that you get.
You're
I
looking
thought
at
it
the
was
wrong
like
guy.
a
Really?
lemon that was squashed or frozen
no,
or
isn't
something.
it the booze?
It's like
Hang on.
fermented lemon.
Or
I don't
was
know
it-
what I'm
wait,
talking about. I'm making
Nor
it
do
up.
I.
No, neither do I now.
You could say
You-
anything
you don't
right
know what
now,
I'm
and I'd
talking about
believe. No,
either.
you
Yeah.
could say. I'd believe it. I'd be like,
Oh,
Is a Japanese
gonna-
distilled beverage. It is typically distilled from rice, barley, sweet potatoes, buckwheat, or brown sugar.
Joseph, have you been to Japan?
You have.
Did you try?
I have.
Did you try? Did you try
COVID?
Kobe beef?
cocaine. What?
COVID cocaine beef. Did you try Kobe beef? This famous beef that's apparently the best in the world.
No.
Oh, the one that's like almost white because it's so marbled.
Yeah, I
the
think it's
fat's like all through
I think
it.
it's like nearly $200 for like 500 calories worth. You know.
No,
Yeah.
I just wandered around eating just some bullshit.
Rice, soju.
I went to like
Sushi?
an Irish pub and got a steak, but it probably wasn't a very good one. I don't know. I was a retarded like 20-year-old, or 20-something-year-old. I wouldn't have known about any of those
Oh.
things.
Wow.
Lucky you got treatment. Good for you.
Yeah, I did.
Where I was trying to go, but you did that well.
Thank you.
Lucky you're okay now.
You're like,
mate.
hang on.
Yeah.
You were retarded
I'm
at
getting a
20.
bit- My retardation's flaring up.
Well, wait, in all honesty, I was pretty fucking retarded at 20. Like, I'm pretty retarded now, but like when I was 20, I was like, if I had to sit across myself at 20, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, you idiot, you fucking moron.
Yeah,
That's not where the
agreed.
clitoris is, you know?
Agreed.
Um,
Agreed.
that's not where the clitoris is.
Yeah. No. I've always been
Sitting
quite-
across from myself.
You're like, I still don't know.
That's do you ever see, this is kind of like an insensitive question, but do you ever see a woman that you find so attractive you're like, I'd fuck her? Like, does that ever appear in your mind?
Not really, no.
No.
Nope.
Mm.
What
Nope.
about, but you know that they're attractive, right? So you're like,
Well, yeah.
you're sexy.
And you're really like aware of the difference between like a hot woman, like a hoary woman, and a beautiful woman. And why you're like, oh, don't let a man shag you. That's frightening. Like, you beautiful flower. Like,
Yeah.
Don't let
so
You
just
perfect
letting this
darling.
like gross man touch you.
It's true. Like we love them for how clean and delicate they are, and women love men because we're like sweaty and like hairy and like you know, like we're pig monkeys, you know.
apes.
Yeah.
Like they love,
They're like, that's cute.
yeah.
Oh.
It's so
They're
fucking.
like, oh my God, you're so cute. You can rip a chicken's head off.
Nature's so
But
fucking.
even
weird.
like men that can't rip a chicken's head off, they're
Yeah,
like,
they'll
I can
still-
type an email.
They're like, oh my God, that's
Yeah.
hot.
God, he must be rich.
he knows the difference
They're the
between
bad
there and
ladies.
there.
Yeah.
Looking for a guy in finance. 6'5", blue eyes. Oh, with a trust fund. I missed the trust fund. That's vital information.
Yeah. Like you don't, if he just decided that he didn't want to work in finance, it's fine.
Yeah, because you still got a trust fund.
I set up trust funds for people every fucking day.
You set them up, or
What does
you
that
set
mean?
up the legal docs?
I set up trust funds. We do trust funds. Well, I don't do it for them like a lawyer does, but I convince them that we do it, and I talk them through how we do
A
it.
trust fund is just a trust in terms of like an entity.
Is it like
Yeah,
a
so like-
bank account
No,
that
it's-
is
yeah,
held by a
Well,
trust?
it's like
more
a
like that. So,
company.
yeah.
But it's not a company, it's a trust.
Mm-mm.
And it has like a deed.
Yeah.
So if Philip and I were going to create a company, you'd want to create the trust when the company's established.
But you don't actually
Like
have
you can't,
to, because I didn't
you can't become
create-
you can't become a
trust.
shareholder in a company later on, and then create a trust. It doesn't work that way. You have
No,
to,
no, no.
yeah.
No. Like you can create a proprietary limited with shareholders,
Mhm.
and you can have like holding companies, but they don't have to necessarily be a trust.
It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
a trust.
no.
But a trust,
People
the,
may.
the only way that you know who owns the trust is if you can see the trust deed. So even the tax office
Correct. Yeah.
doesn't know. So it's like a little cheat.
Yeah, the
But
trust is so that
trusts
you
are
can
good for,
hide
like-
all your shit.
Mm.
Yeah. Mainly for like tax write-offs, especially. But like, if I had a
But
son,
hiding your assets.
if you and
yeah.
I created a company, and I created a trust for my child, then obviously we'd pay less tax. But like basically everything I have, my shares, etc., a lot of that stuff would go into the trust, which would be eventually my child's, essentially.
Yeah. Depending on how you want to set it up.
But you
So
can-
if
yeah,
you
you
want to be
can-
like, I own nothing. It's all owned by the trust.
Mm.
And how do you know the trust is linked to me? You don't.
Yeah, that's why. So I speak to a lot of people every day who are like sole trader, ABNs or whatever, and they bring on employees and they create a company, and it's like essentially it's to just reduce tax and reduce liability. Like it's like
Yeah, it's
you-
liability.
this is no longer yours. Like it's not your name anymore. It's like the
Yeah, you don't
company's
wanna-
its own entity. It's crazy how that kind of stuff works.
Yeah, you don't want to be Jim's Plumbing as a sole trader business and then hire 10 dudes that are going to fucking chop their own arm off
Yeah,
while they're laying pipe, you know?
yeah, laying pipe.
And
Like-
I think that still does go to the directors. That's why
then,
you like.
even in a P2A Ltd.
Yeah.
all you have to have in this country is one shareholder and one director in order to have a company. So you could
And a
have
secretary.
that's not a
You have every proprietary limited has to have a secretary.
that's wild. I haven't heard that. But like so you could have a company with like 50 shareholders and they're all in different countries, but as long as you have one shareholder here and
if
and
you're
a director,
international, yeah,
you can
gotcha.
keep the company alive. That's wild.
Saucy.
That is
Just trying to make money with the company. That's the
problem, isn't
Yeah.
it?
problem.
I could start a company.
that's the
I just
ticket.
don't have any way of making proper money.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my own company. So what's your source of income? Employment. I'm employed by another company.
I know. Well,
Is
it's
that
like my brother-in-law. He has a building. He's a carpenter,
Mm.
and he pays two. What are they called?
Contractors.
No, when they're learning.
Apprentices.
Apprentices.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's so fucking hectic. He's like, because we're going away for my brother's wedding. He's like, I can go away for a week, but because they're not allowed to work unless he's there,
So everyone has to take a week
I'm
off.
like, how fucking annoying is that?
So how long until they're qualified?
He has to pay.
Years?
He has to pay them whilst he's gone.
but they won't be working.
Why doesn't he hire a full-time tradie to so
I think apprentices, they're like the same, but the government contributes a bunch of money, and you can also like pay them fucking nothing as well.
But if he had one fully established guy, and then that guy took care of the other two, then he could fucking just run the books and go on holidays.
Yeah, but the problem is because they're building out houses and stuff, and the margins are already fucked.
So it's like easier to just get employment who
Yeah.
are basically being paid
Yeah,
by
so
the
if-
government instead.
Yeah, if his net profit at the end is only as much for his own salary, he's not going to hire a full-time dude and pay him his
Yeah.
own salary just to sit back.
Yeah,
Because he's not going to get a salary's worth of extra work out of that.
you just need to be close to the source of the person that's actually building, rather than like subcontracting from another builder, which is I think where he's at the moment. Rather than like being like getting hired to build a deck or whatever, just having like you've got to do 12 townhouses in the next 6 months, or whatever the fuck it would be. I don't know. I don't taste it.
Townhouses.
But it's just the wood bits that are like pink, pink.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the inside. Just laying some floorboards.
That's what I was doing last year when we were building the cubby house at my brother's. And I was like fucking
You're helping him.
fucking like
Nail
nails
gun.
are going across the fucking whole valley.
You can kill people with that.
Yeah,
Were you drinking while you were doing it?
no, not that often. Get on with it in the morning. Have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea. Then you're like, I can have a 4X Gold.
How many
What's
how many
the-
cups
what-
of tea do you have a day?
Yeah.
Only a couple. I can't do caffeine that much. It makes me fucking wired. I hate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do more than a coffee. Like
When
I'll have
I-
a coffee in the morning. If I have a second one, I'm like,
I would just
Yeah.
do it at work because I just wanted. I'd have one before, and a cigarette, and then we'd finish all these like bullshit morning meetings.
Take
and
a
then
dump afterwards. Let's not forget that you need to shit
trying
immediately
to do like
after.
a nice poo, and then you're like, well, I'm just gonna have another coffee and a cigarette.
What
and
happened
then
to
do
you
another
Post
poo.
poo coffee.
when you first started, what happened to your double coffee? You used to rock up with two bought
coffees.
coffees. As if he was buying a coffee for someone, but he just put them both on his own desk. And
Wouldn't the other one be cold by the end of it? Or
No,
do you
it doesn't
pound
take
them?
me long to drink a coffee.
What were you
I'm
having?
not the kind of person who sits
What?
on things as well. I'd skull shit in instant.
Oh yeah.
what
don't
coffee are you having then? What were they? Cappuccinos?
Just flat whites.
Flat whites, yeah. You can down
Look
those.
at me.
Look at me.
Any
do you
sugar?
No.
Just flat white.
Everyone
and
are
milk.
people for years. They're like, "Do you have any sugar?" But no one ever asked me that. And now lately, it's come back with a vengeance.
They're asking
sugar?
you if you want sugar.
And I'm like, no.
No, why the fuck would I want sugar?
Yeah.
But milky coffees, they're gone like that for me.
Yeah.
They are gone in a minute. Like before I even get into the office, my mocha would be gone. But black coffee, because it's like super hot and it's strong.
Why not get
so then
ice long black instead? You tried it?
Because it's winter, bro.
And Iceland
Oh,
Black
bro,
is too bitter. And I'm in it for the
very
milk.
bitter.
I'll be fair.
I do love an iced long black, 100% in summer.
Ice long black in winter, it takes you extra longer to drink it too. And it's,
Yeah.
you don't realize just how much coffee affects you until you stop drinking coffee and then you have a coffee. Like I remember
Oh, yeah.
I stopped drinking coffee in 2020
Mm.
and then I moved to the Northern Territory. I was there for 2 years. No, I moved to the Northern Territory in 2019, mid 2019. I moved to Sydney in 2022. So at the end of, I was there for 2020, 2021. Jesus Christ. Those 2 years I didn't have a coffee. The second or third day I moved to Sydney, I went and got a chai latte, which isn't like a necessarily.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's caffeinated though.
Is it
Yeah, it is.
Not as much, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
It's
not
more like
a
tea.
shot?
It's more
Yeah.
like tea, yeah.
It's not a dirty
of a
chai, but it's
tea,
caffeinated. I remember I had it and I was in good spirits. And I was like it was bad. Like I had like a major panic
Yeah.
attack.
Dude, this shit.
Vapes.
Yeah.
Fucks
I'm
with your heart.
I had to go to hospital at the end of
that's right.
November.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that from vapes? Did you ever confirm that?
No one fucking knows. I was like, I don't care if I die. I'm going home. I was there for 8 hours.
What did they identify? Fuck.
They didn't identify. They were like, your heart's racing really quickly.
But your lungs
I
were
don't know
fine?
why.
Did
Yeah.
they x-ray
But is
you and
that-
shit?
Yeah, they x-rayed me. So I don't have lung cancer.
Is that when you were like very heavily drinking
Oh yeah,
wine
it was,
every
it
day
was,
too?
Yeah, it was. Well, it was all towards the end of the year, so it was all because as soon as it gets to Melbourne Cup, even though we don't live in Melbourne, everyone is like, well, fuck it. As soon as it's Melbourne Cup, no one does any work, and so, but it was good for us. We were making a bit of money, or at least I was, and it was like all like everyone's like doing the last march into Christmas.
Mm.
So everyone was getting on the piss every fucking day. And I had and I'm like, all fucking day long. And then it was like giving me like heart palpitations. And I was waking up in the night, like with my heart like thumping. I felt like I was like falling. It was
Jesus.
fucking horrible. And I was like, oh, that's not good. But a bit like, well, I might die. Yeah, I used to really worry about that. Whereas I'm like, I don't really care. That's fine. I've lived a good life. I've sold some
You're a
software,
sucker.
done all of the
Sold some software.
done all the right things.
Yeah.
Great accomplishments. But I was like, and then I was just at work and I was in a demo and then I was like, I was talking and that Chris guy booked the meeting for me and he was
BDR,
in
yeah.
it and he was like just being present to kind of learn from me.
Yeah.
And he anyway, I was like talking and then I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna pass out.
You said that?
No, I didn't say it. I was like, they were like, and the person's just like watching me like, what the fuck's going on? And I'm like, literally holding onto the desk like, am I gonna pass out? When you're like, I'm gonna be sick.
Were you
Am I gonna
in
be
the
sick?
office?
Yeah, I was in the
Oh,
office.
yeah, okay.
But I wasn't like, I'm gonna be sick. I was like, I think I'm gonna pass out and like shit my pants in front of everyone. But I didn't. I just couldn't speak. And then
Did it come
Chris
out of
took
nowhere?
over.
Did it come out of nowhere, or did it slowly creep up on you?
It was like just sort of getting through it. I knew that I was like heart fluttering for like 3 weeks before, but then it like got really bad, and I was like, "Fuck me!" I was like, "I was gonna pass out and shit my pants." But
How did you get out of it? Did you kind of like maintain?
No, I just tried to like breathe because I realized I was breathing very shallow, and that's probably why. And so I was like just trying to breathe, and I don't know, whatever. But anyway, like I went through the day, and my heart was like, it was like an adrenaline rush all the whole day. And I was like, fuck. And I just called my GP. I was like, hey, this is happening. He's like, you have to go to emergency. And I was like, all right. Well, I've got a demo.
Yeah.
So I went and did the demo. And then hung around. I was like,
Was this the same demo where you were like?
No, this is the one. This is another one.
Did
It was
another
busy.
one? You psycho.
Yeah. Got through it. They didn't buy. So I was like, and then no, I just said to I said to Sean, I have to go to hospital.
You didn't make up any other excuse but that?
I need to go to hospital.
I have to go. No, he knew I was because I talked too much, and I'm like, I've nearly passed out, and he's like, oh fuck. I was like, I'm gonna do the demo though. Don't
Papa
worry.
Sean.
Is
Yeah.
Sean cool?
Sean.
Yeah.
Sean's
He
big.
had to be my boss, the poor bastard.
Yeah.
And so he drove me to the hospital,
Oh.
which is really nice.
Oh,
of him.
nice. I didn't realize.
Do you usually take public transport to work?
Back then I did and hadn't bought my car
Okay, so
yet.
you didn't have to worry about
Like
picking
imagine
up the car.
driving me like,
Yeah.
trying to get a park.
out.
Was he trying to like
Sorry,
calm
gonna-
you down in the car on the way? Was he like, just breathe?
No, just
man?
chatting. I'm just like,
Were you struggling?
no, I was just it wasn't like I was like there were moments where I was like it hurt, and I was like, oh, I'm getting, and I was getting like, you know, when they're like when you're having a heart attack, your arm goes numb, and all that was all happening. I was like, I'm having a heart attack and I'm gonna die or a stroke. I don't know what, but I was a bit like, you know, just having a chat. But it wasn't. It was like there were moments where it was like that, but not. But for the whole day, it was like, and then anyway, I went into the hospital, and then
Did you immediately feel calmer when you went to the hospital? You're like,
no. I was like just filled with dread because I realized that I'd walked into like literally emergencies, just a literal collection of the most retarded people and drug addicts.
Mm.
Like it was literally just like a guy who smelled like 1,000 assholes, like blue cheese. Like he was this obese homeless person with like mushrooms growing out of his fat rolls, sits next to me. And it was like,
You're fucking him up. But I can see like he's got his own ecosystem, like he's that wrong.
you're not recording this as well. We haven't started yet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
started recording.
Oh, we have?
We've been recording this whole time.
You see that little red dot there?
Yeah.
I didn't see a red dot.
Oh, yeah. That one doesn't have
Oh,
the
that
dot.
one
That
does,
one's got
yeah.
the dot.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so I went in there.
Mushrooms
What-
growing out of
so
his fat rolls.
when you look, I know because like I've gone to emergency rooms at like really bad hospitals too, and I've been like the most civilized person there. And I'm like, I'm not going to be seen for a few hours because this retard's got a fucking missing arm. Like, does that what you felt
there was
like?
like
Yeah, but that's proper serious. But there's like some fucking hypochondriacs in there that are like
Yeah,
there for the third time that week. And they're like,
He's
I
like-
think I'm dying.
yeah.
hi Mary. No, oh, here she is.
But it's Mary again.
Mary's coming. Do you need a sandwich?
Yeah.
But it was there. I remember like an old like ethnic like Lebanese or some bullshit like but like an old lady came in with her elderly husband and their like 4 children and their wives and husbands and their grandchildren all came in, and there's not that many seats, but they just were like, we're all coming in, and they had like a meal and sat down, and there's like tradies with broken arms and legs just stood whilst they're all having
waiting
a
to get
picnic.
plates put in their arm or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
And we were just like, what? And
Did Sean, was it? With the-
Sean, yeah.
Did he leave you there?
That's not his real
yeah,
name.
his name's
His real name is Shiva.
Okay.
Shiver Ready.
Did he? So he dropped you off, like, so you were like, just let me go. So
Yeah, I was
you-
like, I'll
you didn't
go
have
get
to-
on with this. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, he doesn't need to be there. He's got like a family and things.
He doesn't need to be there when the man dies.
I
like-
didn't even tell my family because I don't want to deal with that. I'm like, I think I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Mum, we'll let you know how it goes.
Right. So
Just tell her after.
How long
I
were
didn't
you?
even
If
tell
you
her.
die, just tell her
I
after.
haven't even told her. I told my brother, I was like, oh, sorry. Yeah, missed the footy last night. I was in hospital. He's like, why? Thought I was having a heart attack.
Why? I got 2 questions for you. First one, what hospital was it? And second, say?
RPA.
Where is that located?
The one in Newtown.
Oh, cool.
Or
cool.
Camperdown or wherever it is, yeah.
How long were you waiting in emergency?
8 hours. Actually, no, I was
fuck
probably
off.
a little bit less, but they took all of my blood. They did the thing where they put the stickies things on me first. Then I had to sit down and die of boredom for 5 hours. And I kept going in and out.
Oh, so they saw you pretty quick, though, to take your blood.
Oh,
so you went back into the
They
waiting
make sure that
room.
you're not actually having a heart attack. Because they're like, oh, no,
Gotcha.
you're having a heart attack, Joseph. Let's take you to a
then
room
it would
to do
yeah,
that.
So
then
for
it would
5
speed
hours-
things up a little. It would speed things up a little bit if you were.
For 5 hours, essentially, you waited back in the waiting room with these, like, measuring your heart rate.
No, they'd already done that, and then I was just waiting there. I think I had like a drip thing in my arm because I took lots of blood to see if there was heart damage. There's like a hormone that is in your blood if you've got heart damage. I don't know, whatever.
Okay.
I was trying to. It was too boring. But anyway, but anyway, they did that, and then they were like, I was like, I'm pretty sure I vape too much. I'm like, I confess. I vape too much.
Got a confession.
And he's like, "Can I see the vape?" I was like, showed him the vape. It was one of those like rock, like I get bar ones.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, well," and he's like trying to like read. He's like, "Do you have the packet that it came in?" And I was like, "Yep." And I've got my bag, and there's like 5 empty fucking things in it. And I'm, there you go. And he's like looking at it, and it doesn't tell you anything. They're like, doesn't even tell you that it's got nicotine in it. It's like, it's
The power of rock and roll.
blueberry ice flavored and the power of rock and roll. This is made in China. That's all the information they want to give you. And he's like, well, he's like, I can't release you. I have to observe you a bit longer. So I went upstairs.
Were you
into
still
this
palpitating at this time, or were you calm?
I was still then, and then I went upstairs and just literally laid in like an empty ward on a bed.
Sounds nice.
And I was like, how long do I have to do this for? It's not that comfortable. And I was literally in this dark ward, and I was like,
I would have caught up on some Z's. Oh, you dirty.
Just vaping in the wood. I think I'm having heart palpitations because I've vaped too much.
and I was like, I haven't had a vape for probably about 25 minutes. Like, you're just in emergency. Like,
A sweet burn.
Breathing it
pop out
down
the
your
front.
shirt.
When was the last time you had a good burn? Like,
well, yeah, I did that, and then they're like, well, we want you to go to a cardiologist and wear like a bra thing and stuff. And I was like, cool, give me the thingy. And then I was like, went to bed, and then was like, not going to work tomorrow. And they're like, are you feeling all right? I was like, no, I feel terrible. It was fine. I just went and got drunk with Leighton, with my friend. And then I went into work and I spoke to Valeria, and I was like, yeah, they want me to go to a cardiologist to do the testing. She's like, yeah, my dad did that. And they just charged him like $3,000 and were like, we don't know.
You're like,
And I was like,
thank you.
because I was like, that's what definitely is what's going to happen to me.
so you didn't go?
So I just didn't bother.
No
and you
way.
haven't had a
I haven't had a heart
palpitations?
attack. No, it's just because of these stupid fuck. I knew what it is. I was like pumping, like, like, I used to chain smoke, and I thought that vapes were the greatest thing ever. It was back in the Juul days. Like, you get the 5% ones, which is the same as like smoking reds. And I never smoked reds.
It's harsh as fuck.
But these, I reckon, are like twice reds.
Really?
That's why they work. But you're like heavily addicted, and you're breathing in. This is like got seed oils and shit.
Straight up chemical.
Bro, reds. So you've got gold, blue, and red. Red's like the really harsh, like cigarettes, like white oxide, like prisoners who are smoking
Right.
reds. It's like super. It's like
When you get
black
the head
tar.
spins.
Yeah, like death.
I only know cigars. I get head spins from that.
I have a
Yeah.
curse. I have this problem where like only when I'm drinking piss and I've been drinking all night. If someone presents a cigar, 99.999% of the time I will just unconsciously inhale,
Oh,
and then it's just
shit.
like, hang on, guys, one moment, power bath. Like, let's see how far this projectile vomit can reach. 10 meters. Like, I cannot.
Fuck that.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
You-
when
you've
I'm
done that
drunk, I'm
before?
just smoking it like a cigarette. I'm
Really?
like, but like,
Oh,
I'm
that's
really
so
good at smoking
harsh, though.
cigarettes. Though.
I'm really good
And
at
cigars.
smoking. Do you reckon? I always think about this. I always think about what would like mead, for example, or wine or beer tasted like? Like, what would beer taste like back in ancient Egypt? Because the Egyptians made beer, right?
But they
What
were
would
they were
wine have
much
tasted-
lower alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So that they were made with the ferment. This is the theory anyway. We don't actually know this, but the idea is that if you drank from a well and it was the whole community, but if that was drinking that well, but people didn't really like, they would just shit in holes in the ground
So
or whatever.
alcohol was like the clean.
It was the way to clean it. That was the whole thing in like with
Germans and-
cholera. Is
yeah.
they were like the guys that are pissheads aren't getting cholera because they're all
Yeah, isn't
going
that
out to
why?
pub.
Yeah.
Isn't that why the English just fucking became way healthier because they invented tea? They just boiled their water,
Yeah.
and then everyone's like, "Why are they not getting sick anymore?"
Yeah.
So they just fucking boiled all the bacteria
Germans,
to death.
you guys
I don't drink
drank
water. I
Yeah.
drink tea.
Tea, exactly.
Yeah. You guys drank beer until like the fucking 16 or 1700s or 1800s.
Yeah, until
And stopped.
2024.
Yeah, yeah. But so okay, so there's that, and then
No
like
more beer.
the wine that the Romans drank, that would have been pretty strong, right? Or the less sugar would have been, because we put more sugar in ours these days, so it would have been stronger. Okay, so hang on before you answer that. So I always
But that's a
wondered.
different grape, isn't it? Though the winemaking grapes are lower in.
So what you're saying is the alcohol that we consume today would have been stronger than what they had back then.
Yeah, I
Oh, okay.
believe so. Yeah, well, at least the ales were and mead.
What about this then? Because obviously the native when
I might be making that up though. That was something that I read, and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense," because you can't just be pissed all day. But people drank because it was clean, because the alcohol would kill all of the like cholera and bacterial diseases and things like that in it.
Yeah. Do you remember Sir Walter Raleigh? The English guy, he was sent by the Queen to. He went to America, and the Native Americans are there, and he brought back potatoes and tobacco.
Mm.
And I wonder, at
Damn,
least,
that guy.
if
I
not,
love potatoes.
yeah, oh
you,
yeah,
you love
tobacco and potatoes.
tobacco and potatoes.
It's a lethal combo.
potatoes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Tobaccados.
It's lethal
Tobaccados.
combo. Yeah.
Okay, so ancient beer and wine aside, the old tobacco, like fresh raw tobacco on a pipe, without the
Yeah.
mothballs and everything, that would have been pretty harsh, right?
Yeah, but you smoke it differently though, don't you? It's like more gentle.
Right. Yeah. So you said you're good at smoking. So have you smoked out of a big Gandalf pipe before?
Yeah, yeah. I would like to do that.
And it's not harsh?
Well, it is harsh, but it's if you have a long stem, it cools the smoke,
Right.
and you kind of just mediate it into your lungs. You're not like, like what I do
Yeah,
with
it's not
this.
not from
Or
the
like
flame
about
a couple of
plume
inches.
it out.
straight into
Flame
your
of
mouth.
honor. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
so
yeah.
so
That was
if you thank you. So if you got a big Gandalf pipe, could you just buy tobacco to stick
Yeah,
in
you
there?
can do that. Yeah.
Where do you get that from? Like a TSG? Like
Yeah, I think wouldn't you? Well, like I've done that with just normal roll, but you can get the
oh, the
thicker
pouches.
leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I roll my own cigarettes because I can't afford if I bought a deck of
Taylors.
smokes. Yeah, they'd be gone by midday, and I'd be poor.
Yeah. How long does a pouch last you?
I can probably it's about a week. I'm like it would be a slightly less than a week. Back when it was just cigarettes, is what was available. It was really frustrating because everyone was when it like crept up towards $40 for the pouch. Heaps of people stopped buying, but then you go to the pub and it was just this era of, hey mate, can I pinch a smoke? Can I pinch? And they wanted you to roll it for them.
You told us this last time.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
like,
fucking nightmare.
yeah.
And you'd be rolling cigarettes for everyone.
But now it's like I was like, oh, I need to quit because I went to hospital. I need to stop vaping. So
How long did that last?
Well, he jumped back on the durries. So
I
he's
jumped
just
back on the
pumping
durries.
cigarettes.
And you found a noticeable change, no more palps?
Yeah, well, I haven't really at all this year because I'm just not allowing myself to. Like, if I go to work, I don't bring this with me. I just smoke cigarettes and I chew gum.
Like Nicorette gum?
Yeah, but it's horrible because the Nicorette gum, I get horrible pains in my jaw and shit because I'm chewing like a crackhead, like all day
I
in
chew
demos.
all day as well, yeah.
And my brother's like, yeah, you just tuck it up in your lip. And I tried that. And then I'm like, that's annoying.
What are those things called? I have two blokes.
Little pouch things.
Yeah, it's called like Whiffsky or Whiff or Swift.
Yeah, it's got a funny name.
Yeah.
I
got 2 of them. They do it, and they've given it to me. Like I've given it twice now. I've gone out for a drink.
Nicotine pouch for your mouth.
No, it's not nicotine pouch. It's like a.
It's literally a nicotine pouch.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah, it's like. Do you know how the?
It's like a little canvasy, slimy thing.
Yeah, it's like a little, and you put it in there, and like every time I've done it, I've probably been like 6 beers in. I had one 2 weeks ago on a Friday, and like I put it in there, and all I felt was just like having a really strong mint burn your gums. I didn't feel the nicotine high, unfortunately.
I did. One of the guys at work gave me one, and I was like hanging off the fucking desk. I was like, oh my god! And that was like 20 minutes of that, and then it stopped, and then sort of like you blink, and the whole afternoon's gone by, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about cigarettes or vapes.
Oh yeah, so it gives you a fix.
Yeah, but I've just never properly tried it. But yeah, the problem is it's just cigarettes. Right, like it's when I went out last weekend, and I was just punching durries.
It's just when you're drinking, it's just I can't. Now I've reached a point in my life where if like I'm going out and I'm drinking, like I need to do something else in my hands. Like I need to just buy a pack, you know.
Yeah, I do love cigarettes, but yeah, it was making me so ill even in the over the evening. I was like, I'm smoking way too much.
You wake up in the morning, you're like, your throat's on fire.
Fuck.
You got like a.
It's horrible. I wish I didn't have this addiction.
I haven't puffed on a cigarette in years. I would have had.
Don't do it.
No, well, I only used to have like a puff or so when I was really drunk. And then one time I was drunk out with a bunch of work friends, and one of the guys just had a pack, and we were just waiting for a taxi after we were going home. It would have been like 2 a.m. passing around a cigarette. And I just like, yeah, fuck it. I'll just have a whole cigarette. Yeah, cool. Got about halfway through. And then I was just like, I feel so sick. And then I just threw my guts up in the garden, and then I haven't touched one since.
Go green.
And now that's just linked to that memory. And I'm like, perfect. Just keep it that way. Keep it there.
Every time, like, I've only been a smoker for maybe a year and a bit or 2 years now. It's been very off and on. But I'd say in the last 6 months, I've been quite consistent, like a pack a week. But
you should just stop. It is like I've known lots of people that can smoke a deck of cigarettes or more in a night out and then not touch it for a month. But I'm
sounds like
genuinely very, very addicted.
Yeah.
Like I need it in the morning. I don't wake up, but it's very strange because I'll go to the gym and I don't want it at all. It's like out of context or whatever it is. But I fucking love it, and I'll kill someone if I don't get it.
Agreed, yeah. But what Phil mentioned is like the best times that I've found it's very easy to get off for maybe 2 or 3 months is when I do have a drunken night out and like my world is spinning and I'm throwing up because I had a smoke. And then when I wake up, I'm like, get that thing the fuck away from me.
Yeah, it turns you off it.
Recently though, and I think I've fallen down the death
Doesn't
hole
happen
now.
anymore.
Doesn't happen. Like I'll have a violent throw up all night, wake up hungover, order McDonald's, still
and then you'd be like, I need this.
Still exhausted, but I need the puff, you know?
Why do you reckon you're good for cigars though? What is it that you enjoy about cigars, Phil?
Well, that's like, to me, that's a completely different thing.
But what is it that you enjoy about it?
It's more of a social thing, and
Never about
the actual physical.
Yeah.
It's more of a tasting thing. Like it's like a flavor / effect.
See, this is what I don't like about that. It's like when you have a cigarette, not only are you tasting it, you're holding it. It's very elegant. You can talk to someone for a little bit, and then either nose or mouth it comes out.
See, I don't find that elegant. Whereas when you have a cigar, I find that
when you have a cigar, you're conscious of the ash falling on your lap.
That shouldn't be the
case. It's pop. Oh no, I didn't get enough. People are looking at me. Pop, pop, pop. A little bit more. Pop, pop. I hope I don't inhale it. It's just. I'm so conscious of like 3 or 4 or 5 steps. With a cigarette, I'm just like, yes, Philip.
Yeah, but there's less steps in a cigar, Joel. That's the weird part.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want my vape anymore. I want a cigarette.
Yeah. But like with a cigar, you can't be like, oh, blah, 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 you know? A cigar. Here's what I'm gonna say. Like, I'm not shitting on cigars because cigars are cool, but when you have a cigar, you are committed to that. When you have a cigarette, that's like.
But you're not committed to it because you can put the cigar down.
Yeah, but that's true. But no, but like,
Yeah, it's
here's
a long thing. Like that should take you more than an hour
no.
for.
But here's the thing.
It takes me 2 hours to smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, let's say
Depending on the cigar.
let's say you've had a smoke and someone said Uber's going to be here in 5 minutes and you're like, fuck, I want another smoke. You can pump another smoke out. But if you've puffed on a cigar and someone said, fuck,
that's a completely different experience to a cigar. You shouldn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to finish this cigar
But
real
cigar,
quick.
you don't draw down into your, you shouldn't draw down into your lungs. It's more about, circulating it and tasting it's like the experience of it.
Yeah.
And if it's a good cigar, it's like
I think
very
your
enjoyable.
issue is that you're used to the smoking part, to the inhaling part, whereas I'm not.
No.
I'm putting it in my mouth and I'm going, I could taste it, and then I'll just like slowly go and just like let it
I get all that as well, but
flow out.
the thing for me is this: I can't inhale it. I don't care about the flavor all that much. Like, I'm not like a coffee or a wine person who smells things. Like, I eat food to stay alive. I don't eat food for the enjoyment of like, oh, I can taste the things in there. So I'm definitely
Joel.
I'm definitely
Why
the
would you
wrong-
have pizza over chicken and brock every day?
I'm definitely the wrong person because it's convenient. I'm definitely the wrong person to like to be.
So you
like
don't really appreciate it as like a luxury, and
Not really.
it doesn't
no.
hold value to you.
Yeah, exactly. And like the convenience. What I'm saying is like a cigar is cool, but like the convenience that you have with a cigarette opposed to a cigar, like I'm getting more out of a cigarette than a cigar. Like
But you're looking
You
at it from
prefer
the
the
results.
experience.
You're looking at it from the results perspective. Like you're thinking, I'm getting a better result from a cigarette.
yeah, exactly.
But we're talking about the experience part of it. Like a cigar is not, oh, I feel like nicotine, so you quickly pump a smoke. A cigar is, we're going to sit down together for 1 or 2 hours and talk shit while we're going, oh, this is a great one.
Yeah, that
Oh,
seems
yeah.
so. See, I don't
But
vibe with that.
but they're
that's
two- they're two
I
different-
I could sit down with you and smoke a whole pack of cigarettes for 2 hours and be loving life. But like a cigar, for me, is like if I'm smoking a cigarette, the flavor, the activity of it, the conversations, the convenience of it, it's like the feeling of getting jerked off, right? But then. No.
The right at the end of that.
Shut
that's
up.
not
Let me
vibe.
make my fucking comparison. Just shut the fuck up. Let me finish. God damn it.
Cigarettes are getting jerked off and
And then a
Cigars
cigar is like someone
getting raped.
just going like this to my balls. Like that.
Like
Just
touching your balls.
touching my balls, right? So it's not doing the
So
same
you don't-
thing.
Yeah,
It's not doing the
they
same
are
thing.
different things.
Absolutely.
But like my comparison that I was going to make is that a cigarette is an aside. It's like a moment aside. Like you pop out and have a cigarette, and then you come back.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas a cigar, as a group,
it's a whole thing.
would sit down and you light a cigar each at the same time, and like literally over New Year's and Christmas, it was like have a cigar and like we didn't play poker, we just played Catan.
Oh, nice.
Fucking Catan. I was really shit as well. I know I did win once, but you can sit down and have that experience, then you would all sort of finish that at the same time, and that's when you finish your whiskey, and that's the night.
And then you have a cigarette.
And then I have fucking 12 cigarettes.
On the way home.
Actually, I'm having cigarettes whilst
Well,
cigar
cigar.
down.
Yeah.
But that's like the difference is like that's what I love so much about cigarettes is that you have your coffee in the morning and this moment, and you'd like be somebody else going through this like ritual. So I think that people like that. Like cigarette in the morning, then you have like these sort of breaks throughout the day where you leave and you have this moment by yourself to have a cigarette, and you go back to work or whatever you're doing. Whereas a cigar, you wouldn't do that. It's a different context thing. And you can just sit at the pub, and I've definitely done that 1,000 fucking times, where you just chain smoke at the pub on a Saturday afternoon, which is lovely. But the idea would be that would be, which, ideally would be like would be what a cigar is for, or or a special
communal
occasion version of
activity.
that. Yeah.
I understand that, and that
Because
makes
it's longer
sense.
and it's over this long, and that's why you have whiskey with it. Like, it doesn't really work having like wine because the cigar's too overpowering, whereas whiskey, it pairs with it really
We've done
well.
cigars and red wine though. It's pretty good.
I've done cigars and red wine, but it like, I love red wine, and I don't need like the muck in my mouth when I'm. Whereas like with a whiskey's stronger, so that it's got a lot of heat because it's higher alcohol, so it like kicks that aside, and you're getting those more pronounced
bitter whiskey bite with the bitter cigar, and then delicious.
Yeah,
have some
10
dark
out of
chocolate
10.
with it. Have some 80% dark chocolate, some bitter chocolate.
that's exactly
Fill
it.
your mouth with bitter. Delicious.
So that's what I think from what I can sort of feel, it's like, because they're all made like a cigarette is a small cigar, pardon me. But that was like what they're for. Because they were all given like social context.
What about those? What are they called? Cigarillos, mini cigars that are like almost,
they look like a
almost
cigarette.
yeah,
They're
almost
like
the size
black
of a
almost.
cigarette.
My dad
But you're not
smoked
supposed to
them.
inhale it. You'd fucking struggle with that. You'd be like,
Oh,
I got a cigarette and I can't inhale it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd feel like a 15-year-old bum puffing.
I think maybe I would maybe benefit from having more of social environments where it's just like I follow a guy on Instagram, and he's like this British dude. He's got this long curly hair and he's got glasses. He's like, today I'm trying a Shiraz from blah blah blah, and he's like cracks it open. He's like real charismatic and he smells it and he's like, and he drinks it. And he did like some from like some wine from Adelaide recently, and like he got it from Australia, and he was like, oh, it's great, blah, blah, blah. And then
But he's not an Australian dude.
No. But
yeah.
he just samples wines, and
Nice.
recently he had Snoop Dogg send his wine to him, and he's like, "Thank you, Snoop Dogg. I'm going to try this now." And he took one sip of it. It was like a white wine. He's like, "That is fucking ugh." And he's like, "Hang on a minute. It came with 2 spritzers and another thing, like a Merlot kind of thing." And he's like, "Okay, so we have to mix these together. And this make the Snoop Dogg wine taste nice." And he makes the whole mix up and he drinks, and he's like, "Okay, that actually tastes pretty good. I could."
There's like a wine cocktail.
So yeah, so the thing for me is like, maybe it's not showing my etiquette, but I've never, like, people will go to a 3 or 4 or 5 star Michelin restaurant, and the plate will just have like a line of asparagus and like a tiny little piece of salmon with like a drizzle on it, and people are like, what the fuck? And they're like, no, you don't understand. It's an art to it. You need to eat this, cut a bit of that, sip this, try that. And
It's
then,
so nice.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's a chemistry set. It's like you're playing with chemistry. And I understand it's a similar thing with cigars. It's a long period of time. You let the air get to it. You have a whiskey with it, etc. However, I guess I've never given myself an opportunity to appreciate those things.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer to just
Well, it's an
cut the
indulgence.
bullshit. Yeah.
And yeah,
I finish
just
drinks
haven't
too
found the
quick.
opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hoover drinks down. I hoover cigarettes down. I hoover food down. I don't give myself a chance to experience these things because I guess I'm just not interested. But it would be nice to have.
Well, you would be interested if you were given the experience.
Exactly.
Of
If it was a task, yeah.
With the proper instructions. That's
it's
interesting
like
with the
people
food,
tasting
isn't it?
wine. Though.
Yeah.
I get so they're like, oh, I'm not really, and I'm like, I'll show you how to taste wine. It's like the easiest thing. You look at the color of it. It's all about like focusing all of your attention into this one thing that someone's made.
It's tasting wine is wild to me because I can't taste flavors, or like I wouldn't be able to tell you. But then after I did a couple of wine tours, and you're like, okay. And as soon as they say it, they're like, oh, this should have some plum. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Your
Oh, God,
palate,
it's
your
got
palate's
plum in it.
Of course,
activated,
yeah. And then after a while, now, if there is one that is a bit of plum, I can pick it straight away. I'm like, oh, is that got a bit of plum? And then we read the back of the label. Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
That's
It
right.
does.
Me down to
Have
Asda.
those-
I get myself a steak, and I asked the dude at the checkout for a red wine with massive nuts.
This is the guy.
He only goes and recommends Jacob's Creek.
Jacob's Creek.
4th biggest wine brand in the world. double-barrel matured Shiraz, aged in Scotch whiskey bollocks jingle
love that
jangle
one.
barrels, 14.5%. Is it headbanging juice? So, Mr. 14.5%, should we have a go on you? Right, in goes our drop stop.
He's super loose
So
too.
much clobber. Right, there we go. Oh, it's dark, it's deep. Let's have a look. Exactly what I want a Shiraz to look at. Oh, it's black inside. Right, away with the card. Boom. Let's have a little smell. It's ripe. It's blackberry. And it's got that little bit of mint that I get from really quite good Australian Shiraz. And then we have a taste.
Yeah.
It's got lovely creaminess to it. It's quite rich. It's got a bit of residual sugar, I think. And the tannins are really soft. I would actually recommend Jacob's Creek double-barreled Shiraz, Scotch whiskey barrels,
is gonna be you.
all the other bollocks that's printed on the front label, at about £10.50 from Asda as your first red wine.
£10.50. What's that? $25?
25
Yeah, so
bucks.
I used to get they do a Cab Sav, same thing, double barrel, aged in whiskey barrels. It's pretty good, the Cab Sav.
Yeah.
Tom Gilby, if you guys want to see.
Tom
Tom
Gilby.
Gil. Yeah.
They're massive export brands as well. So they basically are just enormous producers, like very high volume.
Jacob's Creek?
Yeah, like Jacob's Creek, like all the Treasury Estate.
They are
brands
South
like
Australia,
Penfolds.
right? Jacob's
Yeah,
Creek.
yeah.
Yeah, thought so.
I think they just, I don't know whether Celador or
Do
anything
they have the
would be.
best? Is South Australians wine the best one in
Well,
Australia?
it depends what you want. Like Hunter Valley is really famous for its Semillon,
White.
and its Shiraz, but to a lesser extent because it's like more softer, medium-bodied Shiraz. Then there's Yarra Valley, which is like Melbourne's version of the Hunter Valley, and so they're really famous for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, and also very, very good Cabernet. They do Shiraz and a bunch of other stuff as well. But it's because it's colder. They're really good at like lighter style, Shiraz and Cabernet, but Pinot Noir and Chardonnay as well. And then South Australia, Barossa is like the most famous one probably in Australia, but they're famous for Shiraz and to a lesser extent Cabernet, but especially Shiraz. Then McLaren Vale is pretty much the same, but it's more coastal. It's on the coast, so it's more maritime. Then there's Clare Valley, which is it's very famous for Shiraz, but also very famous for its Riesling there. And then in Western Australia, there's Margaret River, which is very similar to Bordeaux. So it's very, in terms of like climate and just general terroir, but they're famous for Chardonnay and Cabernet and Merlot.
Would you say the French have the best wine in the world, or the Italians maybe?
It's all
Depending on.
I'll literally, because it's what I know, I think Australia does. It's like entirely like our palates, like Australians do like very pronounced flavors, like we like big, rich styles.
Nothing
And-
subtle, yeah.
Yeah, and if you drink like a Bordeaux, you're like, I literally can't taste it. It tastes like nothing. And like you're halfway through the bottle and you start to get it. You're like, oh, all these really gentle like details.
If you had shaken up the bottle before you drank, do you think it'd be different? Or?
No, well, get the bubbles going. But yeah, it's way more like sanded down and very gentle French wine. I prefer Italian wine, but I get a little bit sick of like the Barolo kind of.
That's very subjective.
Too rich?
Very
It's
subjective.
just I just get hit with raisins. I'm like, all I can taste is raisin, like raisins out of the little paper box, like when you go to
I know
school.
what you mean.
Yeah, sultanas.
Yeah, sultanas.
Wow, I love sultanas. Maybe.
Well,
I
I
should-
love them as
maybe
well.
should be on the
but I'm
Italian
like, when it's
stuff.
the only thing I can taste, it's
In a
really annoying.
drink. Yeah.
But yeah, like I've had some amazing Chianti as well. But I prefer that, and I do like some Spanish wines with their Tempranillo, or what they call it, Roja. I think it just means like red wine or something, or whatever it does.
Tempranillo, I like.
Yeah,
Tempranillo.
Tempranillo.
I'm assuming Tempranillo because it's Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah. With the
Pollo?
double L.
Chicken.
Oh,
Mmm. I do like my Argentinian one. If there's an international wine section, I'll
Malbec.
choose an Argentinian Malbec or something. Pollo?
Whereas like fucking Jeff Goldblum. Yes. I think I'll like the.
I think I like the Argentinian Malbec, please. I'll take the Malbec from Argentina.
Can you do any decent impersonations of any kind of famous person?
No.
Come on, man.
No, my voice only does this.
Who does your voice sound like, though? I feel like you could probably pull off like a. I will come back to you.
Well, people will do impressions of me to me, and I'm like, "Are you doing my voice?" Because they'll be like, "Hi, I'm Joseph," and I'm like, "Are you being me?"
That sounded like
Obviously,
David.
yeah,
David, you know, Aordi, you know, the
Oh
plum
yeah,
duff.
people have said that as well.
from like Mighty Boosh and stuff. Yeah,
AOID or whatever his name is.
yeah, from IT Crowd.
IT Crowd.
Hello, yeah, no,
Hello.
yeah, like
Hello.
you can do it. You
What's
do
a
good
line
impersonation.
from that?
Jeff, I'm coming. I don't know, like
Jeff, I'm coming.
yeah,
I
that
do
sounds pretty
sound like
good. Yeah.
It's a very unique voice, though. I reckon you could find someone that he already sounds like, and if he did a line, it would
Like
match.
Richard Ayoade.
It would match,
Mm.
definitely.
Definitely.
Joel's pretty good at a few impersonations.
What's your favourite one, Joel?
I'm pretty good at most of them, but I do a really good Barney Gumble from The Simpsons. It just seems to be the most easiest one to target.
Go on then.
Shit, I knew once I said that I was gonna have to do it. Gee, Homer. No, I don't know who your pixies are, but I sure like this pixie drink. That's pretty good, right?
That was good, yeah.
Thanks, man.
I didn't realize it was going to be. I guess it is. You have to be like quite accurate with that.
Yeah.
Mm.
He did.
Land.
He did Doc from Back to the Future one episode ago. That was great. He does a. What else do you do? Like a Christopher Walken? You do
I
a.
do fuck.
Do whatever. You try whatever. You'll
yeah,
try anything.
Yeah, I'll try anything. I'll give it a go. Do you have anything that
Can
he
you do an
didn't-
impression of me?
Mm,
Oh,
mm. You're
Just the
very
nose.
here, yeah.
Yeah.
oh.
You speak through here. Can you do an
Mhm.
impression? London. With a bit of a twist at the end. London.
Does it sound like a
I
gay?
No, I need to work. I need to find it. No,
And
I
lower.
can't. I
It's got to
can't.
be deeper.
I can't get my voice as baritone as that. Okay.
Can you
Maybe.
do an impression of me?
That's fucking Snape. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Mm. Is this what you mean?
Minus
Apologies.
196, Mr. Potter.
Apologies, potion.
Is that a soju in here?
Being Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
Because he did when he was the German guy in Die Hard.
Ah, brilliant.
Hans Gruber.
Hans
Yeah.
Gruber.
He's like, I will get you. McBain or whatever his name was. What was his name?
Please.
Yeah.
When he pretends to be a civilian. Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Hans Gruber.
It's sad that he died.
That was,
He died around the time. He died when everyone was hyped up about Bowie's death, so he kind of went under the radar.
It was like the day after.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was
Oh,
like
he died. Yeah, there was just like
ignominious.
heaps
Right?
of them fucking died.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
died
it was like
recently?
a-
Someone died recently. One of the celebs.
Hmm.
Very
died.
recent.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was the guy from the King of Rohan from Lord of the Rings.
Bernard Hill.
Yeah.
That
He
was
was the most
sad.
recent.
'Cause I on that day, I didn't even know he was dead yet.
Mm.
I keep coming to things like very late. Like people were sending me photos of like
Not a bad
a
thing.
dead guy in Westfield, and I was messaging back like jokes because I thought that was like in another country, but it turned out that it just
The
happened.
stabbing.
Oh, yeah, the
I was
stabby
like,
guy.
oh shit, sorry
Fuck.
about that. Yeah, Bernard Hill, and I was watching Wolf Hall, and I was like, oh fuck, he's in that. I was like, oh, he's in it, like from Titanic and Lord of the Rings and all that. And then, I looked at my phone later on, and he was dead.
Did you watch Black Books?
I've seen Black Books, yeah.
Do you know the main character? He's like an Irish actor, right? I
What the fuck is his name?
think his name's Bernard.
Bernard?
The character?
Yeah, in the show, his name's Bernard. What are you doing? But like, I kind of get your vibes from him. Like,
And people always say that as well.
yeah, there we go.
Like
It's
there you
like
go.
cigarettes.
justified. Yeah, like it's like
And being grumpy.
like when you said you're staying with your brother
Mm.
before you move over to the Hunter. It's like I imagine it's just like he's like, "Come on, Joseph, let's go out for a drink," and you're just wearing like a black coat and you're like sitting there with like 2 empty bottles of wine. You're like, "I don't want to." Like, fuck off. you
No,
know?
I end up going though.
Yeah.
you still
you're
end up
like,
going,
you're
does
like,
happen.
is there alcohol? He's
Yeah.
like, yes, there might be. You're like, all right, you know, like
It keeps making me go to the RSL.
keeps.
It's
making
nice.
you.
It's so cheap.
RSLs are
Get
pretty
two
good.
years old there.
Good schnitzel too. Fucking hate Tui's, man. I've
No,
not
the
drank a
fucking kitchen's
Tui's.
never open.
I've not drank
Oh,
a Tui's
I
since
go there
high
at
school.
like midnight though.
There.
I thought Tui's was God in high school, and then I got out, and I was like,
But two years
this is
old's all right.
revolting.
Drinking the Teds in high school, to his extra dry.
Australia,
Oh,
yeah.
two is extra dry. That's what everyone drank when
Yeah.
we moved.
Teds.
Australian beer is so
Like Ted's.
actinic though. It's like I know I've heard the rumors that Guinness doesn't travel well and it tastes like dog shit over here, but like obviously work with a lot of Irish fellas.
Doesn't taste like dog shit.
I've drank Guinness recently and I found it so syrupy and delicious, and they're like, I've been like, taste it, and they're like, I'll give that about a 7 out of 10, 10 being back home, so I'm like, oh, that's good. And then maybe I'll drink like 4 or 5 Guinnesses, and then I'll go to the bar and be like, oh, let me just get a VB, and I'll drink a VB or like a Han or even a 4X.
Well, Han is
can't
I don't
do
know.
Paul.
Anyways.
Han is
On.
German, and that's
Okay, but
blows my mind because it's not that good.
I
don't
don't believe
think.
they wouldn't have Han in Germany though, would they?
No, I don't think so.
It's literally just disgusting. It tastes like has like a banana
Does-
flavor.
it's very.
I hate it.
That's all they had on Friday at work. I was like, fuck this.
I'm like, why do they keep buying this shit? That and Carlton Dry,
Mm.
Yeah,
but the Guinness,
Coopers, all that shit.
Guinness, because I can get on that. I can like push.
You like
put a
Coopers?
few-
Or Guinness?
Coopers is Guinness,
yeah.
but it makes me fucking fart.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, ooh,
So having a
Ooh.
meal.
fucking.
But if I'm drinking German beer, or if I'm drinking Guinness or whatever, or if I'm on some kind of spirit, and then I have a 4X or a VB, it tastes like someone's got a glass of fresh water and they've just got a rusted piece of pipe and they've put it in there and let it dissolve for a bit. Like it tastes like rusty actinic water. It's just
Yeah.
revolting. Like this, I haven't had one of these in a while, so it was nice because like my palate
4X gold.
was clear.
Yeah,
But if I had one of I think I did have one of these before the 4X. It was still good though.
Yeah.
Like 4X is my go-to beer. Like it's my ride or die beer.
This
but
is
still-
very different though, right?
I
If
like
you'd had
4X.
something that's more of a beer flavor that was different to a 4X,
But
then it
those
would
things are
contrast with it.
evil.
Whereas this is like you're drinking pure sugary lemon.
Yeah.
I thought it didn't have any calories in it. Was that wrong?
Well, yeah, it's not actually sugary, right?
I just remember Lockie kept buying them for me, and I was like, oh, it's just lovely. It's like a lemonade. And then I was like, oh, I should go home. And I stood up and I was like, oh my God, I'm fucked. I had to like try to walk to the train station. I was like hanging off buildings. I was like
Yeah,
grabbing a wall
Are
at a
you a-
bus stop.
Are you if you're like drunk and spinning, will you throw up or not really?
No,
I'm a
I'll
thrower.
do it on the hangover.
Yeah. No, I'm a if the room's spinning, I'm gonna vomit. I'm a
Oh,
vomiter.
my body wouldn't let me drink that much.
Yeah, true.
This is
stop.
6%, 1.6 standard drinks in a small can, so 330 ml, but 122 calories. So it's the same as a beer.
Right.
So it's not that.
Yeah, they were all
Innocent.
like, no, it's like good for you.
It's
There's
got
lovely
lemons
calories
in it.
It's got
It's
lemons
citrus.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lemons are fruit.
You're not gonna get scurvy.
Oh yeah, I was worried about that. Actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm worried about scurvy. Have you seen these scars? Like, scurvy's such a weird thing.
What
Imagine-
is scurvy?
Oh, it's like I think being out in the sea and like being
Get a
being
rash.
around salt or something. It's like you needed the citrus to counteract kind of something.
Yeah,
like.
it's something about that.
Tell me
Yeah.
what scurvy. I don't know what scurvy.
Look it up.
is.
Look it up because
I'll
I'm
do
pretty
it.
sure they were drinking more rum than fucking. Oh, you got it.
Scurvy, yeah.
What caused scurvy? And
What is scurvy? I want to know what is scurvy.
Yeah.
A condition caused by a severe lack of vitamin C in the diet. People who don't include enough fruits and vegetables in their diet are at
I
risk.
think it's like your gums are like bloody and
Yeah.
your teeth
Ugh.
falling out, and it's like your liver failure.
No, I've
or
worked with some
shit.
people.
Symptoms
like
may not occur for a few months after a person's dietary intake of vitamin C drops too low. bruising, bleeding gums, weakness, fatigue, and a rash are among scurvy
not
symptoms.
a rash. Arr.
Yarg.
It would have been shit being a pirate.
Bro,
That's
how
what all the
rough.
seamen would get, right?
Yeah.
Seamen.
Man. Dead set. Being a pirate, like, imagine just sailing in the sea forever. You got to swab the deck, literally scrape the deck to pass. That was your pastime. And then it's like rationed food and drink. And then if you're lucky, one day while you're just sitting there baking in the sun, no sunscreen, the water's probably fucking stagnant. You're drinking rum to keep yourself alive. You're probably a bit tipsy, and then your captain's like, all hands on deck, a fucking merchant vessel. You're like, oh, thank fuck.
It's time to
Something to
pillage.
And
do.
then some like pilgrim vessels going past. You're like, I am robbing and I am pillaging. I need to fucking get this frustration out. You
Yeah.
swing
Part
across
of the
that
job.
thing, it's like some fucking Spanish dude's like, "Fila!" You're like, shut up, you know? Like it's just, you know what? Fuck, I take it back. Being a pirate would be pretty cool.
Nah,
like,
no way.
You work hard,
Has
you
its
play
ups and
hard. Yeah.
Fuck. No,
Yeah,
you're
no,
absolutely
fuck
right.
that, like-
You'd just be so rotten and then just take it all out on your pillaging.
The shit our ancestors did, like I'm probably more closely tied with your ancestors than his. But like
Where are your ancestors from?
a little bit of German, but mainly Wales, England, Ireland, Scotland.
Right.
Probably a bit of French as well. Mainly
Very
more
French.
Scottish and Welsh and Irish.
Oh, yeah.
And English, I don't know, but like I think I was like heavily Scottish. I think it was like 30% German, and then it was just like 20%, 30%, 40%. I think Scottish was the highest one though. But like these motherfuckers were living to 30 years old. Like they managed to do that long enough and survive long enough until we've reached what we have. Like
Apparently that's all not entirely true. Like people did live to
60s, 70s.
very old age, like into their 90s and and older as well. The reason why the average lifespan was much lower is because a lot of women would die in childbirth and a lot of children would die shortly after.
Is it malnutrition that killed them? Like they just didn't have enough like
Oh no, it's just humans are really suck at women really suck at having babies. Like
Yeah.
So
fucks
these
them
days-
up.
Our
these-
species is
these
really
days,
bad at
Yeah.
the
they-
reproduction.
It's
They need,
a bit
like,
our fault.
blood
but,
transfusions and stuff these days and drips and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
But it's
Not-
even just stuff like murder rates have dropped by like 70-something% simply because there's still the same amount of people going for a good fucking stab and a pew pew. But we can save them now. And that's only in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
Psychology.
No, like save them as in
So we
after they get shot or stabbed.
we can
because of
stop
our
someone
medical
from dying, whereas
advancements.
50 years ago we wouldn't have been able to
right,
stop
right.
50
them
years
dying.
ago, you're like, oh shit, you got a bullet wound. That shit's going to get infected. You're
Yeah,
going
put
to die.
pressure on it.
So
you know.
essentially, like modern medicine's kept us alive,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But
And-
we'd still be running around like fucking idiots, though. Like,
But no, the point is we're still running around like idiots.
Yeah.
But we've got better doctors.
We got a better safety net.
it's still very much like survival of the fittest. Like evolution's like, good luck, motherfucker. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But the childbirth death, that was also a big thing with germs. Because there was this whole story about the guy that was like, hey, we need to wash our hands when we go to the next patient.
Mm.
And everyone was like, you're fucking crazy. And then they tested it in like separate hospital wards because all these women were dying during childbirth
from bacterial
infections. And then the ward where they made everyone wash their hands, the women just stopped dying.
Yeah,
They
because
were like, oh, it's magic. Because they had no
Captain
fucking
Smelly Finger.
microscopes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that shit was happening way more often. And those chicks were having babies at like before 20. So that would drop the average hard. Even if people were living to 90, 20 and 90, the average is like in the middle there.
Apparently, it was all like
You're fucked.
way more civilized and like built like buildings that we still don't know how to build now. Like they were remarkable people still, but we just kind of go, you're just a bunch of retards rolling around in the mud. I mean, we mostly are as well.
Yeah.
I would if I
We just
was
put a
watching the
different
rugby
label on it.
today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that they're retards, they're well maybe
What is it
some of them.
like? gentleman playing a thug sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Like, yeah.
But yeah, that was just like an interesting thing about the like perception
Well,
of
it's
history. Oh, it's so medieval kind of thing. Like it's barbaric when we know in many ways we're a lot more barbaric than they were.
absolutely.
Mm.
We're a bit more strategic with our fucking violence these days.
Yeah. Keep
Yeah.
it overseas.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it
Or,
overseas.
you know, whatever.
Like, do you know what's crazy? It's like there's that famous story of when the Normans came over and basically took over England, and that's why a lot of French words are in the English vocabulary today. It's because of the Normans, like Normandy, France. That's like
Yeah. Well, we had
Um,
French kings.
yeah,
for a few
William the
centuries.
Conqueror.
Yeah.
William the Conqueror is one of his knights, who was also his cupbearer. One of his like
Is what bearer?
cupbearer.
All right.
Cockbearer, is that what you said?
Like the dude,
His
the dude who
cupbearer.
checked the food to make sure there wasn't any poison in it. That was
Right.
that's my ancestor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He's one of his knights. He's like Duflon Le Ron or some shit. So I'm probably a bit of
Is that
French
your
as
last
well.
name?
No, it's Comerford.
Oh,
Very
right,
Irish.
yeah.
Yeah, fucking Guinea. But at the time, the English, well, what was it? What was England called before the French came over? They were the Saxons.
Yeah, well, the Saxon people.
So here's England, right? The Normans came over from here, and the English were over up here fighting the fucking Vikings still.
Mm.
And there's a famous story
The
of like,
Danes.
the Danes, and there's a famous story of a Viking who stood on a bridge and held off the English and like killed like 100 men. You know that story? It's
One dude.
I've
one
heard of a
fucking
story
Viking,
like that, yeah.
and then the only way they could kill him is went underneath a bridge and stabbed up and
Oh
Right,
my
it is.
yeah,
god.
got him.
Bing bong.
But like, yeah, bing bong.
Got his
But
bing
like,
bong.
so
Yeah. Get him in
that
the bing bong.
that story, that is a remarkable story. One man, one fucking. Everyone was probably like
Mm.
5'8", and he was probably like 6'4", swinging an axe. He was probably high on mushrooms and mead, so he was like, I can do this all day.
Methamphetamine.
And those guys were probably just dumb enough
Mead
to
and
run at
pheasant.
him. So that then was a remarkable feat that would be told. We're talking about it today, so that's obviously legendary.
Mm.
But nowadays, and that was like the peak of like violent courage, right? Nowadays, it's just like one dude at home with like a Oculus on going, all right, there's 60 fucking Israeli dude, ISIS guys,
Click a button.
drone.
Yeah.
He just literally,
It's less romantic.
yeah, he literally incinerated 60 people. Like that's how violence evolved. It's like
Yeah.
detach the human from it, but keep a human element in there. Like you'd play enough video games, you wouldn't feel that. But like, I wonder if those drone operators actually one day they just sit there and go, I've killed 178 people. Fuck.
Well, so detached, man. Like if you put him in that guy's position on the bridge, they probably wouldn't be able to do it.
Oh no,
You're like,
he'd go to war. He'd be
go
one of those
cut-
dudes getting carved in half.
Yeah, go cut through people with a sword.
Yeah.
They'd never be able to do it, but because all they see is an explosion on the screen.
But it's like
Tactics.
to do like with the old legends and stuff. Because I was like studying. I've been studying a lot with George and the Drag, St. George.
St. George, yeah. He was a Roman, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a Roman general. So apparently the real, like it's all just so you don't fucking know. It's what people wrote
You know
down
St.
or
George,
whatever.
right?
No.
It was
The English scream for St. George. It's like one of their patron saints.
yeah, he's our patron saint. And it's the same with Portugal and Georgia, shockingly.
They have St. George as well.
Well, it's a country called Georgia named after. So he was a Roman general and he was Christian and that was illegal. And they were like, you have to renounce your faith. And he's like, no.
You're a Roman, man. Why do you care about
So they
Christianity?
tortured him and like cut his fingers off and all this sort of stuff. But they ended up boiling him alive and he never renounced his faith. So he was canonized. And then there became the legend of George and the Dragon, which was just this like it's this very ancient tale, but it came after that. So it came out of the dark ages. And it was about a Roman knight that was wandering around as they do. Like, it's like a cowboy story. So it comes upon a town called Silene, and they have to draw a lot every year, and they feed the person who draws the short straw or whatever. They they offer them to the dragon because the dragon otherwise will destroy the town and all this stuff. And then they pick the princess. She draws the short straw, and he's like, and her name's Sabra, and he's like, don't worry about it, I'm going to go kill the dragon. And there's the famous image of him riding on Bayard, his horse, with the lance.
Bayard was the horse.
Yeah.
Awesome name.
Towards the dragon, and he kills the dragon and frees the town.
St. George Dragon.
And so he stands for courage.
Yeah.
So that's what, when people are like, for St. George, it means it's like they're hoping that God brings them courage. Whereas when people with modern warfare, the whole point is, it's like, yeah, you're killing a bunch of people and you're victorious, but there is no victory in a bloke in a room like this, drinking
with a bunch of
fucking
screens.
Monster energy drink, with a bunch of screens, murdering some people on the other side of the planet.
You're not getting
with
to
a drone.
Valhalla that way. Yeah.
Because it's just sinful and there's no courage. There's no stake for you other than like your boss might be mad if you break the drone. I don't know. Like
if you miss your
it's
target
like-
or something.
it's like clearly you're the bad guy doing this.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, you're not going to be remembered in 1,000, 2,000 years.
Mm.
You're just a cunt.
Yeah, there
You're
is
just a cunt. Agreed.
Just a cunt.
Agreed. I mean, as fucked as it is, and how maybe it's showing how primitive we are, but like you can romanticize actually physically fighting someone. Like the stakes would never be higher,
Yeah.
and that's when like physical and human endurance will present itself. It's like fight or flight.
Yeah.
You're invested in this battle, and I agreed. Like anyone who's operating a drone killing people, sure, it's great. He's killing rapists and fucking like let's not bullshit ourselves. Islam and Muhammad and like the whole religion of like Islamic religion is absolutely fucking barbaric.
Yeah.
It is
But
revolting.
you're absolutely right. That's why no one will remember your name.
Exactly. Yeah.
But also,
I would not like to fight him.
yeah. But there is something badass though about when we're talking modern day. There is a bit of badass about like the unnamed, for instance, like in Captain Phillips. Is it Captain
I
Phillips?
started watching that the other day.
It's
and
a
I
very good film.
I
You should
stopped
finish
watching
it.
really. Okay.
So Captain Phillips, like right at the end when the SEAL team come in
Yeah.
and like the three snipers in unison just like there is something badass about like these guys coming in.
Oh, yeah.
They're cold hard killers. Nobody knows their name. They're just these fucking ghosts. They come in and they just go execute perfectly and then just fucking get out.
Bro, Tom
and everyone's
Hanks.
like, who the fuck was that?
Tom Hanks is acting at the end of that when the surgeons
Brilliant.
have him, like the paramedics have him, and he's like crying and hyperventilating. It's amazing.
Where did you get to? What part?
I literally just watched the first 20 minutes.
Oh, dude, you gotta
And then
you
I-
gotta finish that film.
Yeah,
It's
'cause I ended up
intense.
watching Old Henry, which you should watch.
Henry Cavill?
No, it's just a movie called Old Henry.
Oh,
Old Henry
We
Cavill.
wish it was Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch Old
but
Henry.
look, I'm going to say this: like, if I was in a war zone, I was in a trench, and we were pinned down, and I knew a bunch of tanks were about to roll over me, or like an army of 100 men are about to advance on my 16 guys, and then a drone flies overhead and neutralizes the whole enemy. I would be singing that drone's name for the
It's
rest.
true.
I would
Thanks,
look at
mate.
it'd be like GX9722221. I'd be like, I'm getting you tattooed. I'm going to name my child after you,
Thanks,
GX9221.
Barry.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're drinking, you're just having whiskey in your camp. GX92711.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I guess it's all very subjective. Old
Brilliant.
Henry. What's
Old
that about?
Henry, I'm gonna save that.
what
It's
year is
just
that?
Was it good?
it's a low budget ish old. It's a new film,
2021.
but it's a western, and I fucking loved it.
Australian?
No, it's American, but it's got a great, like historical, like contexty, like twist in it.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, that's proper cool, and it just builds up. Just like shitloads of fight scenes and all that stuff. It just builds up into one, and it's amazing when it drops.
Nice.
You're like, oh, it's like an hour and a half. It's not very long.
What else did you say you recently watched? Western and what film?
Oh fuck! What was it called? Confess. It's got John Hamm in it. Confess.
Confess. Is that also
something, And then the
Netflix?
guy's name. Yeah, so it was on Netflix.
confess.
I'm just back into me.
What kind of movies do you like? For me these days, I'm a big movie buff. Like I tend to go backwards. Like if I see a modern film that I like, I'll watch it. But for the most part, I'm like like I'll watch like the Seventh Seal or something like that. Like a black and white
Love that.
film.
We spoke about that last time.
Yeah. Like we did. But like again, I think that's why I brought it up because you reminded me of it. But like I will watch. I prefer watching a Hitchcock film over like a fucking movie that came out this year. You know.
I don't really know anything about new films. Like Barbie's up on Netflix or something.
I thought Barbie.
So is Oppenheimer.
I watched Oppenheimer, but I just don't really want to watch Barbie. Like it's.
I wouldn't watch Oppenheimer again.
I'm sure I'd enjoy it, but I'm just like I don't want to hit play. I just don't. I'm like surely there's something else. that I'd prefer to watch.
It's funny. It's like it's kooky. But did you say you wouldn't watch Oppenheimer again?
I wouldn't watch Oppenheimer again.
It was long.
I don't think I would.
I thought
either.
it was
like such a. I'm like he's like what's his name? The director.
Cillian Murphy. Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. It's just too annoying now. Like it's just so hyper intellectual. Like talking in like that film was like talking in tongues.
Okay.
And I remember like when Matt Damon's character comes in as just like a normal American movie star. It was like such a relief. Like this tension of like, oh, like someone with a bit of bravado and like interest rather than like, I'm a sad Jewish man. And my wife, we're moving to the desert to be, we're just so smart that I have this burden.
Yeah. I agree.
And I'm like, fucking, but it was, I liked the structural thing of being by the pond with Einstein.
That was nice.
And Matt, what's his name? Robert Downey Jr. is like I was like, what character are you playing? Like the strangest man ever. He's like
dude, his character was in the movie for like 5 minutes, and he got best accompanying actor. What's it called?
Support.
I was like, you fucking were in the movie for nothing.
Well, you know, he did something different, and I think that they all like cack their pants.
Hey, he's not Iron Man. He's a different guy.
Oh, he's not doing Iron Man.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but someone that I watched, maybe it was Em. She was like, oh, fuck, I didn't even recognize him. It was like 2/3 through the film where she was like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah,
he's like
he old
as
now.
well. Yeah. He's like, oh, he's old now. Give him an Oscar.
I'll say this. I may need to watch it again, but I saw Barbie in the cinema in IMAX, like a big IMAX cinema, stone cold sober. And I thought it was the biggest piece of drivel I've never, ever seen. It's completely... I know they'll say like, "Oh, it's not a man-bashing movie." If you've seen it, you don't get the secret message behind it. It's kind of like a double entendre kind of thing. It's like, no. It's a fucking Barbie is in a doll world, in an imagination world.
Mm-hmm.
She goes into physical reality. They don't explain that well.
Right.
She doesn't really come to any kind of. It's just a fucking dumb movie. It's just like a dumb movie for chicks who don't want to take accountability for anything and just feel more confident in themselves. And at the end of the movie, it comes down to the whole movie is just a culmination of her basically saying to Ken, look, even though the whole world wants us to be this thing, I don't have to necessarily want you. And I know it hurts you right now, but I don't want you and you don't have to want me, and things will get better in the future. They could have made a whole movie just about that, but instead they had to, it was, like, I'm not shitting on anyone who has a different opinion. My opinion's a very, very quick
so they don't
oversimplification.
Fuck.
No, no.
Well, not that we see.
She doesn't want Ken. And then Ken's like,
she wants action, man.
Ken's like, I'm this perfect thing, and you treat me like I'm a loser. And then he goes into an actual reality. Because the Barbies run the world in their little home world, right? Ken's are just like a
it's like a matriarchal nightmare.
Yeah. And
then he goes to the real world and he sees how much respect men get. And I thought that was kind of funny when he rocks up and he's like, oh shit, I'm like the man in this world.
That was...
Because I'm a man.
Yeah, it was. And I can see how they were like, the Barbie was kind of showing like, you guys have that, we have our own version of this, but it doesn't have to be like that. But it was just done. It was done in it was a lot of subterfuge. It could have just been done a bit more clearer. That's just my opinion.
Well, I thought it was silly, but I just thought like, yeah, fine, it's a Barbie movie. I was like, this is what I was kind of like,
you didn't take
this is
it
what
very
I was expecting.
seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I
wasn't
think that's
going
why
in
I
to
don't
go,
really want to hit
I need
play
a sub story.
Well, everyone else seemed to
because
take
of like
it
the baggage that comes with it. It was like the Joker. When the Joker came out, people were like, "This film is amazing," and like just fucking going. And I was like, "I don't want to go see it."
Really?
And I did. It was like 6 or 7 weeks after it had come out,
You
and
enjoy
like
it?
I watched it, and it was fine, but I didn't like cack my pants or anything. I was like, it was. I'm like, the whole superhero thing is just fucking gay. Like, I
Agreed.
just fucking
Do you
hate it.
agree with Scorsese when he said like he got a lot of backlash because he was like superhero movies are all fun, but they're not movies.
They're
They're-
theme park movies.
Yeah, it's like bubblegum.
But
Well,
they
I-
tried to make that one more serious, right? Like I enjoyed it, and I was like, "This
Well,
is
they just
intense,"
based it
but-
on Scorsese films. Like they based it on like a mixture of like Taxi Driver and the comedian one.
Very Taxi Driver.
What was the comedian Scorsese film? It's a really good movie. Fucking
The one with
De Niro plays the comedian. You guys should watch that. It's a great movie.
De Niro plays a comedian. It's not the thing of what's the
The
De Niro plays a comedian?
yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
because he replayed the same comedian in it again, didn't he?
He's in it. Scorsese,
The King of Comedy.
King of Comedy.
There you go.
True.
Do you know what? I'm going to tell you the story of King of Comedy. It's so good. So it's like he plays this like cringe loser that just wants to get on like a fake version of like Saturday Night Live. It's like in the early 80s. And he's just like going in and like waiting in reception and being like, "Hey, I'm a really good comedian," and it's just like, oh, the whole film you're just like, oh no, it's like this loser, and he's like falling in love with this like chick and like pestering everyone, and then he like cracks and like takes a hostage, and he's like, I have to be the presenter, like main act comedian on Saturday's show or whatever it is. So this is like just a spoiler alert, but you should watch it anyway because it's fantastic. And so they're like, "No, we're not letting you do that, even if you're taking a hostage and stuff." And he's like, "I'm actually going to kill people unless you do it." And then they eventually let him do it, and that's the very end of the film. And then so he goes up and to do his act, and like everyone's like, and everyone knows it's like all in the news. This guy's doing this, and they're gonna broadcast it, and they does it, and he's really funny, like hilarious, and he
then you're
kills
like,
it.
Fuck.
And then it's like, then he went to jail.
And then like, does it cut off there and then it
Yeah.
shows the credits, or like
and that's it.
That's so.
that's so depressing?
I see what you mean by being a mix of that. Then though, for the Joker, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Yeah,
alienating, cringe.
I don't think
He's
I
like-
ever
you're like,
watched.
ugh.
I don't think I ever watched The Joker again. Like, it was a good film, but it was like
only once.
I liked when he shot De Niro in the face at the end, and he was like, I thought he's acting at the end when he was just like free. I thought that
Mhm.
was great, but for the whole film, I was like, hurry up, man! I'm sick of seeing your
Yeah,
life.
you get what you
I'm
deserve.
sick of you getting shat on, yeah. But bro, I will say one thing: Scorsese's had some pretty good acting in his time, like he himself, like his acting in Taxi Driver. Do you remember Scorsese?
Yeah,
in
when he's
Taxi?
in the
Yeah,
passenger.
you see that woman up there? I didn't tell you to fucking look at me. Look at it. Yeah, that's my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he also type in Scorsese as Van Gogh. I think it's a
Oh,
foreign
did he
film.
do Van Gogh?
There's a foreign film. I think it was a Japanese film, but this he's like an artist and he's going into different paintings, and he goes into a Van Gogh painting, and Scorsese plays Van Gogh, and he's like talking to him. Do you want to show Joseph the pictures? What's
Get outta
to say
here.
what the movie's called?
Dreams. That's when he's obviously. Is he the one that cut his ears
That's
off,
not-
or what?
Yeah.
So that's after he's cut his ears off.
That's
He's got
Martin
the bandages.
Scorsese.
That's Scorsese, man.
Doesn't look like him at all.
That's the magic of fucking makeup.
Magic of film.
They made him look just like Van Gogh. Was Van Gogh a ranger?
Yeah, bruh. Big
I
time.
didn't know that.
I went
Well,
to the
no
Van,
wonder no
I
one
went to the
fucked him.
Van Gogh in Amsterdam.
Did you?
Seen a couple of Van Goghs. Seen a couple of Picassos.
So a couple of Van Goghs.
This is a really really pretty movie too. Like
We'd hope so.
aesthetically.
Have you seen Fall Guy yet?
Everyone keeps
No,
talking
is it
about that.
good?
Would you? No,
It's-
did you talk about that earlier?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier because it's filmed in Sydney.
See how the bridge is painted like one of his pictures. Yes, Scorsese.
Why aren't you painting?
Scorsese's a
To
good
me,
actor.
this scene is beyond belief. A scene that looks like a painting does not make a painting. If you take the time and look closely, all of nature has its own beauty. And when that natural beauty is there, I just lose myself in it.
He doesn't speak French very well.
Yeah. Was Van Gogh
I
French?
actually did understand everything that he said.
I thought Van Gogh was like Belgian or something.
I don't know.
It's
Was
French,
he
wasn't he?
French? Was he Dutch?
Was-
Is that why it's in Amsterdam?
I thought it was French. I could be wrong there.
Was Fall Guy a...
Oh yeah, so Fall Guy,
It was American, Van Gogh.
all filmed here in Sydney. That's why it was like
Yeah, I remember-
captivating,
Yeah.
kind of. But I would never watch it again.
Do you get
Like,
that when
it's-
you watch The Matrix, though? When you're like, whoa, that's
I've
watched
never
never
watched
seen
the
The
first.
Matrix.
Yeah,
I've watched
bro.
the first Matrix.
Yeah, but that's set in Sydney.
Is
That's
it?
set in Sydney. That was
You
filmed
used to work
in
at
Sydney.
But I
Movie
watched
well.
this-
You went into the lots. We used to go back into the lots where they actually filmed it in the studios there. Do you know? 'Cause
I thought they filmed it all in Sydney.
No, bro, it was all filmed in the Gold Coast.
No, it was filmed in fucking Sydney.
They've got the big chains and shit. No, they
The
filmed,
fountains
Oh,
in
no,
Sydney, right?
They filmed a lot
Yeah.
of it. They filmed a lot of it in Movie World. Like if you go in there, there's like the,
Oh, right.
the
Indoor sets.
yeah,
maybe.
the big
I
indoor
thought they
sets.
did it all in
Yeah, yeah.
the
Oh, well, maybe
Sydney
yeah, but
studios.
all the with like the helicopter and all that stuff was filmed in the.
Oh, right.
They've got Keanu Reeves' signature was like signed on the wall and like Morpheus and shit. Fishburne, yeah, go on.
See, I wasn't in Sydney yet when I saw it, so if I saw it now, I might be like, "Oh, I recognize that," but I didn't
It's
at the
actually
time.
a fucking brilliant film.
Yeah,
I watched it
all
a
yeah,
few
three of
months
them.
ago.
I like all three of them, bro.
I didn't mind the other two. They were like it turned like really demonic and like strangely like satanic. Like when they're all the humans are living under the earth, like really deep down near the mantle
Mm.
or whatever it is, and they're like that's where they get their power from or something. And then they all have an orgy and all this stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck's going
It's
on
pretty
here?
satanic, yeah.
Yeah,
I should just watch the first one again, right?
like just go hang out with.
Have you not watched the other two?
No, I've only ever seen one.
What the fuck, man? He hasn't watched Lord of the Rings. He hasn't watched
I
Fifth
know.
Element.
You haven't watched Fifth Element?
What a loser, hey.
gotta-
What a fucking loser.
This guy.
Missing
He
out
hasn't,
on
he hasn't
some
even,
lovely-
you haven't even finished the Matrix trilogy despite the fact that the other two
No.
aren't as good as the first one. I
Yeah,
agree.
exactly. So why would
Yeah,
I?
you could miss
Because
out
it's
on
a
that.
fucking story.
If
Like,
I wasn't overly wowed by the first one, I'd be like, eh.
so you're saying Harry Potter 1, the first Harry Potter
I
movie,
read all the books, so I got no choice. I had to watch the movies.
fascism. It's pure fascism.
Fascism.
Phil, you're a
Communist.
fascist.
I'm
You're
a
communist.
I know. I hear it from Joel all the time. Absolute fascist.
You bloody
But
fascist.
Fifth Element though, that's for someone who's like sci-fi, like he's got a Back to the Future car, hasn't even seen Fifth Element. That's an insult.
Was that your favorite film that you said?
My favorite film's Kingdom of Heaven, but my favorite
That was you didn't say that last time, but Kingdom of Heaven's
I
a
didn't.
fucking great film.
You like it?
Only the director's cut though. The not director's cut is literally shit because
Yeah,
they
it's
cut the
painful.
whole the sun thing out.
yeah.
They cut the whole thing out, and
Yeah.
I'm like the film doesn't
He's
make
like
any sense.
he just arrives in Jerusalem and now he knows how to swing a sword. Like it's bullshit. Yeah,
yeah.
but
No, like the kid, the son of the sister of the king of.
La Villa's, yeah, King Baldwin's, yeah. I think last time I told you, because for me, I've always loved Kingdom of Heaven, but I keep forgetting it. So I'll either say Fifth Element or Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, you did say Seven Private Ryan. as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, but no, I think it's Kingdom of Heaven. Like that movie's just. Whenever I love Saving Private Ryan, like I'll die for that movie, but it makes
die for the
makes me
movie.
so anxious when I
Did
watch
you
it.
like Exodus, Gods and Kings?
Exit? Yeah, I did. Joel Edgerton and Christian Bale. I
Yeah.
thought it was good. I thought towards the end it got a bit slow, but at the start, like the whole build up. did not want her arm lopped off and all that shit. I thought it was great. Yeah.
I loved that film.
Mm.
I was like, because everyone, do you remember at the time they're like, what? Because it was like Sigourney Weaver plays like the mother of
Joel Edgerton, yeah.
like the queen.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, everyone in Egypt was black. And they were having this like argument, and I'm
It's
like,
so
well,
dumb.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
They're really not, though.
Mm.
You fucking idiots. But, well, maybe Cleopatra was half Greek, so maybe, but yeah.
I don't know, like who cares?
If you look at Egyptians, like especially people like then they weren't black, they were like Middle Eastern looking, but they also had their own flair to them. Like Egyptians had a very
flair.
They were like a sexy looking Middle Eastern.
Yeah, rather
like
than a hairy.
Yeah, not like
more hairless and tan.
Yeah.
A sexy Middle East.
Loved that movie. I loved when he tried to defend Joel Edgerton's character and Ben Mendelsohn as well, my favorite actor.
Oh, great.
When Ben's like, he's out there living like a king, and then Christian Bale rocks up and's like, "You're paying. Well, why are we paying you for this? Like, yada yada yada." And he's like, "Fuck." Kind of like he audits him.
Mines.
Yeah. And Jesse Pinkman as well from.
Oh yeah, he's in it.
He was in it. He's like,
I'm
"Why
an
are you?"
angry Jew.
Yeah, he's like, "Why are you
Angry
whipping
young
him?"
Jew.
Yeah, and he's like, he says he doesn't feel pain. Then why whip him? And then he rides off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Ben Kingsley was in it too.
Yeah, he was in it too.
Yeah, fucking yeah, bro. I know that
Great
movie very
movie.
well. Love that movie.
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Weave. You know Sigourney Weaver? Aliens.
Do you not know who Sigourney Weaver? Yeah, you do know who Sigourney.
Yeah, sure.
Have you seen Alien?
No.
Great movie.
I prefer Aliens.
I don't.
Alien was amazing.
I definitely don't prefer it.
But I like. Oh, yeah, I know. But
I'm not a James Cameron like. I do like him, but I don't love him. Just fine.
Yeah.
Just
Let me ask you this: do you think Terminator 1?
Terminator 2.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Greatest chase movie ever made.
Fuck yeah.
Really?
Terminator 1, I've watched
Yeah,
it multiple times.
Or French Connection, sorry. What would be better? French Connection or T2?
I mean, you've got
T2's great.
T2's great.
What's a Tommy Lee Jones movie? I didn't do anything. I don't care. What was that movie again? He jumps out of the sewer pipe and what's the Wesley Snipes one?
Wesley Pipes.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes.
There's the one with Harrison Ford where he's running away. He's getting being pursued.
I don't know.
Yeah, and there's also a Wesley Snipes one with Harrison Ford. He's being pursued.
A lot of chase. It's a good format.
Mm.
The chase movies.
Yeah.
I love a good
Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
I
want to know what you're doing.
I want to know what the fuck you twos are talking about.
I love a good you mess with the wrong guy scene.
Oh.
I love a good like Taken or
Right.
Equalizer
film.
or
Yeah. What these were like Taken was the big boy. Hey.
yeah, Taken was the one where everyone was like, ah!
Liam Neeson,
Daddy,
you
you saved your
darling.
daughter.
I thought when
yeah.
I saw Taken, I was like, oh, it's been done before. Like I wasn't impressed.
I
love Liam
thought it was
Neeson.
done well.
I mean, there was the first one was supposed to be like a straight to DVD thing, but ended up being this runaway success that spawned a new franchise.
No, I thought that was great. But I like things like Equalizer, where it's like Denzel Washington and he's super chill and he just fucks everyone up. And you're like, oh, don't fuck with him.
I watched Equalizer like maybe last year was the first time, and that movie came out like 10 years ago, and
I haven't seen.
I
any
loved
of them.
Denzel Washington. It wasn't impressive. It was like watching Taken. It was like,
Yeah, but
Well,
that's the
they're
whole
B- they're
point.
B
right?
movies,
That's the whole
like-
point.
yeah, certainly it is a B movie because I was just not impressed at all. I was like, oh fuck, I could predict the end, and I did. It was so lame.
He saves the person.
Yeah,
but you can predict the end with any of those films.
Yeah,
Like Taken, you'd be like,
I mean, you could predict
I bet
the
you
end
he
of Lord
saves
of the
his
Rings.
daughter. Oh, what a surprise.
That's why I don't watch them though. You know?
yeah.
You can predict the end of Star Wars, and like I reckon in Lord of the Rings they might fucking throw the ring in the volcano.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you reckon?
I did. I wasn't
Got a
expecting.
feeling.
I wasn't expecting to get his finger bitten off though. So that
Oh
was
yeah.
sick.
Oh, he got his finger bitten off. Oh.
No, you lost a finger.
But it's not. It's not about the destination.
It's about the journey.
Yeah.
It's about the journey.
Exactly.
That's it.
No, that's fair enough. But like,
You weren't impressed with the journey
No, look, I watched Training
to
Day.
equalize.
I wa-
Training Day.
I watched Training Day and then I watched Equalizer. I was like,
Training
why
Days.
is Denzel doing this movie? He did Training Day. Like, I don't need to see
Because he
this.
wants some
Training Day was a bit more
Yeah,
wild.
yeah.
I feel like, I could definitely,
Yeah,
before you even talking about that, I would say you would like Training Day a lot more than
of course I did.
Equalizer. Yeah.
You're in the office, boom, 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 boom. And even like Book of Eli. I watched Book of Eli. I was like, this
Never
is
watched that
fucking
either.
so trash, dude.
They look
Oh, I watched
dreary.
that years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like really,
I'm not really a dreary film
like
person.
hypersaturation, sepia.
Very brown. Yeah, sepia. Yes.
Did you
Gross.
watch?
Gross.
Did you watch Legend? Tom Hardy, where he
Here's-
plays the
Here
twins.
is the thing.
Oh, I did watch
I
that.
love Tom Hardy, and everyone raves on about Legend. I thought it was, and I love
It's a bit shit.
a good fucking British story, and I love the. I went for a fucking shootout.
Yeah,
I
that-
want to do a shootout. I thought the movie was absolutely dog shit.
It wasn't
Really?
very good.
I thought it was dog shit, bro. I'm sorry.
I didn't think
If
it
you
was
watch,
great.
if you watch Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch,
Yeah, but
And
Lock,
then you-
Stock,
and
and
then
Two
you watch-
Smoking
and then you
Barrels, I
watch-
almost fell asleep. That was so... It dragged on.
fair enough. But I'd
Snatch I like better, even though it was the same sort of pace. But yeah. But yeah, the Legend was like... It was all right, but I do enjoy those scenes where it's like, oh, they think they're so tough, but then they fuck with the wrong guys and they're going to fuck their shit up by smashing their heads in with a hammer.
yeah,
My
yeah.
my nana and granddad owned a cafe. I think it was like in Brixton or near Brixton during that era.
And the Cray twins used to come by.
So
Really?
that was all like a thing.
Wow.
That was a thing.
Like-
What happened to
Europe.
that cafe? Did it still there?
Fuck knows. Probably not. It was all owned by my granddad's father, so my great grandfather.
Do you have any
Oh, yeah.
lords or dukes or anything or barons in the family?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
That'd be cool.
I'm sure everyone's
Everyone's got some kind of
Got
tie to
some sort
royalty.
of
Yeah. Everyone's like,
blood in
I'm
them."
related to the queen. It's like everyone fucking
You know
is.
that I'm related to the Queen.
Yeah.
I'm related to Genghis Khan.
Are you actually?
I haven't traced
Probably.
It that
That'd be fucking awesome if
Yeah.
you were.
Probably.
far. I
though.
look a bit.
Isn't
Is it
like,
is it
like a
Genghis or
China?
Genghis? Because I've heard people say
Haven't
Genghis
asked him.
Khan.
I wouldn't fucking have a clue.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
What movies have impressed me lately? I'll say, I can't think right now, but the last movie that really impressed me was it The Master? What's Denzel's son's name? Denzel Washington's
Really?
son.
The Master. Is he in it?
yeah, dude.
Is that why you're asking?
Yeah, it was like, do you
The
know?
Master.
Do you know the South African director who made like Chippy and he did the Alien one?
Oh, District
District 9. It's
Yeah.
very much kind of like that, but it's almost what's the movie called? The Master, yeah. No.
just
Sorry,
a-
no.
The Masters.
Yeah.
The Joaquin
Paul Thomas
Phoenix
Or
one?
Anderson.
say, Joaquin Phoenix. No, can you type in Denzel Washington's son? This movie was awesome. So it was like, it was just impressive visually. It was cool. It was like in the future, AI robots existed. Yeah, John David.
Washington or
Yeah.
Malcolm.
Can I see what he looks like?
You'll know his face once you see him. It was Tenet.
Tenet. Yeah,
The
the worst
direct-
fucking film ever
The
made.
guy who made Tenet, I
Worst?
think, made this, but this movie's different. So
Tenet was fucking
it was dog shit.
hot. What's his name? Fucking
Twilight.
haven't seen it
Oppenheimer
yet.
man and Dark Knight
Yeah,
and all that. What's his name?
Tenet,
Now,
the creator.
the creator. So this movie.
oh, I watched that and I hated it.
You didn't like it?
Doesn't that English bloke? I've met him. Yeah, he did Monsters,
But that
Australian
which
one?
is a good
Oh,
film.
you showed me this trailer.
No.
Yeah, you showed me
Yeah.
this trailer.
This the one with the
This
robots,
impressed
right?
you?
You saw this one?
Yeah, where there's like a big spaceship that makes a big laser light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
just-
switched it off. I was like, fuck this.
I thought it certainly didn't have a lot of super character development, which was hard to connect with characters. 100% agreed. But it was interesting just to get a little bit of a glimpse of like if it was almost like a Phil's side of a story. Like when Phil and I sometimes debate about things, I'll always debate the dark fucking post-apocalyptic what life would likely be like with the way we're going. And Phil's always like, maybe it would be like this if it was a bit more positive. That was more of like if Phil had made that movie, because it was like
Positivity.
Humans created AI. AI didn't turn against humans, but AI coexisted with humans. We alienate the AI, so they all move to China and live in Asia. And then America wants to neutralize all the AI because they apparently dropped a bomb on LA. But in fact, America accidentally blew themselves up, and they needed to blame someone.
I didn't like that because I was like, this is all very anti-human.
Yeah, that I'm very pro.
There's also like
as
kind
well,
of,
but it was just interesting to see a different perspective. You know?
Yeah,
But-
we're the bad ones, and the AI is like, whoa, we were just minding our own
I'm
business.
just being a
Interesting.
little AI.
Yeah, you'll like it. I think
And
you'll
I'm
like
like,
it.
and also,
Yeah.
and I don't really like the idea that we're creating something that's equivalent to humans.
Living
and
in God's
we
image.
need to give them rights and all this sort of like Blade Runner stuff. I'm like, just fuck off. No.
The Blade Runner shit. Am I real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned it. You started. Sorry, I've kind of shat on. I gotta say, I kind of shat on some of your favorite movies today. It's not my intention, but it's just like me.
What movies did you shit on that your favorite
like-
movies?
They're not my favorite movies.
I know, but like I'm definitely the wine connoisseur in this who would like be able to like, you like this Chardonnay? You kidding me? You should try it. But hang on, you saw Fall Guy recently. Tell us about Fall Guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. Like it was just fun.
It's like a
'cause you
rom-com, right?
Yeah, and you see it in like Sydney, and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's a rom-com with like a bit of murder mystery in it, so it's kind of funny and like, ooh, what's happening? But wouldn't watch it again. Like
What areas of Sydney do you get to see?
Oh, like it's all around Sydney Harbour. Like there's a boat chase and shit in the harbour, but like it's so
I hope
unrealistic.
they had
that-
permission.
Well, well, this is
Be
the
dangerous.
thing. This is the thing. It's so unrealistic because it's actually set in Australia, and the big thugs, they're rolling around with like automatic machine guns, and I'm like,
Never happened over here.
this is not America. Like, how did you get these in here?
Yeah. What was the last movie that you found impressive? Like you'd rave about?
Impressive.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Did you see Infinity Pool with Mia Goth?
I did watch it.
You did watch that?
Yeah.
Right, that movie.
You told me to watch it and I watched it.
Did I?
Yeah.
Wow.
I do that sometimes. Most of the time I don't.
That's an impressive memory
Isn't
too.
it weird that I subconsciously told you to watch that of all the movies I could have suggested? Because
Yeah.
it's been a long time. Like,
No, it just popped up and I was like, oh yeah.
It was
I
an-
didn't like go, well, Joel told us. So
Of
I guess
course.
that's how to watch this.
it was a revolting
I
film,
don't
wasn't
remember anything.
was
Yeah, I
icky.
thought it was really fucked.
it? One
Yeah.
of those icky, bloody, like gooey
Yeah.
blood AIDS. It was an AIDS film.
It was an AIDS film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Like
Like
poisoned
you're in a
blood.
weird country where they're like, we'll kill you, but we'll make a copy of you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was gross.
I
Mia
wa-
Goth was amazing though. Hello, Dad. Dada. Like
Yeah.
I was like, fuck. No wonder Shia LaBeouf's pounding that ass. Like those two are perfect for each other.
Is she the one that made the film with him and then they broke up and it was all about him raping her or something like that?
No, FKA Twigs apparently said he raped her.
Oh,
Twiggy.
Oh my god, can I, Joseph? I was almost going to
Jump
be
in
like, hey,
film.
let's cut off the podcast. But I want to, Joseph. What's your opinion on sex scenes in film?
what do you mean?
Sex scenes, Hollywood films, sex scenes. Are they
think they're
necessary? Do you
gratuitous?
think
They're
they're
always unnecessary.
always unnecessary? Oh, interesting. There you go. You got an advocate for your point. Because I'm like, hey, if they're built into the storyline and they're
Yeah, but they don't have to be though. Like a a sex position scene.
okay,
you're,
yeah,
like,
where it's like a montage of
covering
them.
up
Oh, we're doing it this
exposition,
way. We're doing
But
it
you're
this
like
way.
someone's getting information, or they do it. They used to do it like lazily with Game of Thrones, quite famously.
Yeah, which I
Hawking
never
each
watched.
other left,
They-
right, and center.
yeah, and they're like talking about where the all the plot points that are happening, and then someone like realizes it's like exposition, which is bad drama. But if you get them to do it whilst they're having sex, the audience is like, oh, I'm looking at two people having sex. But it's always unnecessary.
Okay, because we had this conversation the other day, and Joel's in the same opinion where he's like, they're not necessary, and I'm like, but if they're part of the storyline to show like passion or something or the relationship, and I've thought of a couple things. For instance, what about Enemy at the Gates? Because that is technically a sex scene where he has sex with that other soldier, where they're all sleeping.
Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I found that really icky. I remember being a kid watching
it
that.
was an icky scene. But
It is an icky scene, but it's like it portrays the true image of war, like
But also the human need to like.
the human
Create-
need for
yeah.
connection.
But that wasn't.
But
That
it's
wasn't
always
like.
weird when they're actually having
was-
sex, though.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
like, you can show it like lead into that and do the, and then
pan to the curtains.
pan to the curtain.
And that one was like very much under the covers. That was more. You were more concerned in that scene, not so much about
About them getting caught.
about
really.
him popping her cherry, but more of like, yeah, getting caught. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like. you
So
know,
like
but
that,
like,
that's
if you
my
watch-
example of like that's where it's like, okay, I want that in there because it portrays like the weirdness and like, oh my
Yeah.
god, they're so like they need this, but they're like literally sleeping with other soldiers next to them,
Yeah.
and they're still gonna do it. Where it's like, whoa, how rough must that have been?
The best example to like strongman it would be Rosemary's Baby when she has sex, but they don't really show that. But you realize, oh, that's not her husband because it's about a chick who gets impregnated by the devil.
Oh, of course.
Damn, bro.
Have you guys not seen Rosemary's Baby?
No.
What's Rosemary's Baby? What's wrong with you both?
Do you? I always go back to the 300 film. It's not the most like sophisticated film.
I watched that recently.
Before they go into battle, he's having sex and he's like,
Fangs old, yeah.
And it's like black and white, and they're like, and it's just like, I don't need to see you flipping her on top of you and like mud dogging her, like.
But it's just like sort of combining like pornography. You know,
But then
like,
what about
Yeah.
the other example I gave is what about like Love, Sex and Other Drugs? That film with
haven't seen that one.
okay.
Well, it's in the
Anne
title.
Hathaway and what's his name?
This one.
Oh, that's
This looks like a.
Rosemary
Is this
Farrow.
80s?
It's like Anne Hathaway and
70s.
she's got Parkinson's and it's like about this Playboy dude who is Jake Gyllenhaal and then they get together and it's like they just have like crazy
Oh, I know
rough
which film
sex.
this
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
And there's sex scenes in there and they're not like flip position, blah, 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 but it's just sort of showing like they're casually just doing it at the kitchen counter kind of thing where it's like, we're just going to get home and fuck kind of thing.
Because
And I'm like, okay, that's part of the storyline. So you need to show that. And then they like have this passionate thing. Then she confesses she has Parkinson's. And then he's like, fuck, do I just bail now? Or do I stay with her through the sickness? Because that's like lifelong. Brr, brr, brr. So like, I feel like it's necessary.
Dumps her.
Nah. Spoiler alert, he doesn't.
Oh,
what a good
cute.
guy.
Yeah.
What a good guy.
Yeah, but you don't. Like, I understand what you mean, but it's still is unnecessary.
But if you're talking about the flipping positions,
literally the whole point
scene-
is because pornography is like bad at the end of the day, and it does like fuck people up and like it's like ruins a lot of people's lives because they don't know how to have like relationships and
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
stuff.
Guilty.
Guilty. I mean, literally, look at me.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, Joel, I love you so much. You're like, so do I just pull your ponytail now and slam you?
Yeah.
Or what's going
Hang
on
on,
here?
do you have
much.
Parkinson's?
Because this could work. Yeah.
I just watched a porn about
I
but
think
you
you
got
have
Parkinson's.
to. I think you have to put your foot up on that table now, and I just have to blah blah blah. Is that how we do it? Is that how we reproduce?
Is that how we do it? Yeah.
Shit?
But yeah, I think that's like the overall point is that it should be removed. Like I literally am like it should be illegal, even though I've looked at a billion hours of porn. But that's like
Billion hours. What about like Titanic sex scene? That's very soft.
very soft. But also, you could remove that and it wouldn't change the entire. Like, I mean, it's the famous like handprint on the window.
That was-
But would it
was
change the
sufficient.
story? It would change the story because
The
you could-
handprint was sufficient, you know?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Did they have to go to the inside the
really.
car? Probably not. Probably not.
And
Probably
also,
not.
like,
So you're seeing the light now.
Yeah, I get what you're
because
saying.
I watched that film recently, and it's a really odd because she's clearly much older than him, which he is.
You poo-pooed that film last time you were on the podcast.
Did I?
And then you've watched it recently. So
yeah. I watched.
What are your thoughts?
So I thought it's you can't believe that they made that film.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
It's
I like it.
incredible. But it is like with him, it's strange because he's so young and fresh faced, and he's trying to be like this worldly, like, yeah, I lived with a bunch of prostitutes and sketched them in Paris.
French girls.
Oh, French girl, painted me like one of your.
Yeah.
And then Kate Winslet is the best thing ever.
Really?
She just carries the entire film.
Yeah,
She's
her acting
absolutely
is-
brilliant.
Her acting is godlike.
Yeah.
I don't
She,
rate-
she
I don't-
says the opposite about her own performance in that
all
film.
the best say that. I don't rate Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor. I do not rate him. I thought he was good in.
Wolf of Wall Street is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Probably,
thought
like
my favorite movie of his of all time was Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh,
I
haven't
loved.
seen
I
that.
wanted to watch. That was supposed to be on my.
Island was good too. Wear it until you love it, like that movie.
Oh,
Wait,
they.
The
what's his-
island where they filmed in
island,
Thailand.
yeah.
But yeah, Man in the
Oh,
Iron
that
Mask.
one. Yeah.
That film really.
The
weirded
island?
me
The
out.
beach?
The
The
beach.
beach.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that one.
sorry,
yeah,
yeah.
that's.
But Man in the Iron Mask is like the Three Musketeers.
I loved that film
He's
when I was
like,
a kid.
wear it until you die in it. Yeah. But anyways, let me ask you this. Let's say they make a movie about you and how you broke up with your ex and then your roommate, Emily, you ended up falling in love with, right? But you were still torn between doing the right thing by trying to move on with get used to being single again, but at the same time you've got a lot of lust for your roommate. Not just lust, but like you've got a lot of
Roommate, eh?
sorry,
Yeah,
next door
yeah, no, I
neighbors,
get it.
sexual chemistry, right? So let's say they make a rom-com about you, and then you've obviously got a bit of creative intake, but they're like, we're gonna have a sex scene, and you're like, okay, the studio really wants a sex scene. I'm wiping my hands. I'm gonna let you guys do it, and then you go to the screening of the movie, and then they do the sex scene.
And you
between
both have
and,
Down syndrome.
Yeah, they do the sex scene.
It's so accurate.
And it's like you being really rough or doing something to Emily that you would never actually do, and you'd be like, oh, and then you look over and she might even see it as like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. But you're like, I wouldn't never fish hook her, and I would never like slap.
You
her.
don't know that, Joel. Just kidding.
But like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You'd be like, man, we could have just done a pan away to the fucking curtains.
But it depends on the film, right? If you're saying that's what the film is about, it's my story, there wouldn't be a sex scene with a fish hook. That's the.
What if the studio really pushed for it? They were like, "Oh,
We want a
we
rough
just, we
sex
we just
scene.
we just got to add a filler sex scene here, like a fun Dane Cook sex scene." You're like, "Oh, fuck, okay, whatever." And then the sex scene's like, my parents got to watch this. I don't want anyone of my friends or family having to imagine me and Emily having sex. It'd be like, fucking, it's just not necessary. you
Yeah,
know?
no, I'm getting your point. I'm getting your point. So that we don't need to add porn when there's no necessity for
unless
soft porn.
unless the film, agreeing with you, unless the film is about a couple whose love life is based around their sex life.
Yeah, is extremely extravagant and blah blah blah, and then that
So it's
becomes
just like
part of the storyline.
ripping the clothes
yeah,
off,
but
and it's
also
just like,
that's
"Ugh."
probably not a great story.
Like
Yeah,
50
yeah,
Shades
it's-
of Grey, you can't do that without a sex scene.
But why? That's a shit
It's a
story.
yeah.
I don't know the
I
story.
read
so-
the book. I'm like, this is a joke.
People like drivel. People like drivel. It's like it's what they
No,
want.
it's just for like overweight, weird chicks that are like,
Can't get it.
oh, a
Weird.
billionaire's gonna hire me
Yeah.
and finger my fanny when I'm having my period. Like literally,
While I'm having my period, does he
Yeah.
actually do that to her?
yeah,
Oh,
Does he
yes.
lick it up?
yeah. He licks it. He does some.
Oh, you don't,
And I'm
you
like-
cunt.
You dirty dog.
I'm like, what is wrong with many people?
Shades of Grey. Hey, it's chicks just.
Well,
reading shit.
let's finish it there.
Cheers, boys.
Joseph,
Thanks, Joseph.
thank you so
Come
much.
back on the
Hey,
1
man.
Liter podcast.
Thanks.